around their collarbone. But this is a rough approximation, but it requires some fuel, so to speak. So they were defending you guys by burning away the feathers of all the assholes around you. I thought it was kind of impressive. But you guys did manage to get back, and then Mile is fine. She has managed to take over the garden a bit. Okay, a bit. She was sectioned off into a tiny little portion of it, and it is now essentially an overgrown forest. So, typical Mile. And Nyx bugged out to go and find out if she could get some help finding the airship, and you guys sort of met up with her when we last left off, right before the meeting of the council was sort of brought back in. Or no, it wasn't the council, it was just a meeting for the Wyvern Riders. The council wasn't there.
So am I back with him at this point?
Yeah, so you would have just caught up, and I sent you a message. I kind of put you on a recon mission.
I saw that.
I was trying to think of like, what the hell would you do? Because we didn't really get a chance to talk a whole lot.
I didn't plan on doing that, but we'll go with it.
Well, I would have thought that you might have walked by or probably, I mean, it is sort of a talk of the town sort of deal. So I figured with your particular background, it's something you might have picked up on.
Sure.
Beyond that, I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to do. I figure I'll let you, say what you were doing, because I had you disappear and then sort of be with the group and then all over the place, because I really wasn't sure what the hell to do.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie
I
about
didn't really
that.
have any plans for the city, so no, that's fine.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that, everything was kosher. Okay. So, any other business before we get started properly, I suppose?
Oh, I'm sick, so if I'm like not answering, I'm in the toilet, so just wait for me, or just skip me, or whatever.
Just put a BRB in if you can anywhere, and
sure.
If not, that's fine. We'll wait on you. Not a big deal. That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all
right. Kids get you sick. Don't have any. It's the simplest way to do it.
No, I moved my mom into my house. She got me sick.
Moms get you sick. Don't have any. Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
Just pop spontaneously into existence. It'll be fine.
All right. Well, welcome back to Kiokrati. You guys are now at the Justice Rise outside of it was a council meeting. I'm sorry. I was thinking of a different thing. You guys are outside of the council chambers in the Justice Rise. You, Nyx, have been trying to update Neil as best you can. When you see pretty much the rest of the party kind of filter in, Ta, you're probably in the middle of the pack, as you guys were sort of in various locations, all sort of converging here at roughly the same time. So, we'll pick up there.
Real quick, you said that I had talked to Saria through the stone, I think?
Yes. So, right, yeah, you didn't get the message, everybody else did. Okay. The message is as follows. One is just sort of a request for an update, making sure you guys are all right. So that's the first part. And the second part is news and a request to know if you've seen Valera, as she is no longer is essentially in her bed or in the infirmary.
Okay.
That's as far as it goes. As,
right.
25 a word minimum is kind of rough for sending stones sometimes. But yeah, welcome. All right, so what do you guys want to do? I'll say for the purpose of this, you guys have about 5 minutes. Next, you see the rest of the party sort of filtering in, and so does Neil and Neil sort of ushers all of you guys over, gives you guys a chance to talk or whatever you need to do.
Nick just sits down. She's right.
Yeah, looks like we got some filling in to do. Let them know what happened up there at the Northern Weir.
Yeah, definitely. You get the idea that you're going to be able to speak to the council because Neil's sort of, sponsoring you essentially to go in. But yeah, you guys have to decide on how you want to handle that, how you want to, what exactly you're asking for, etc. And you kind of get the idea from Neil that like the faster your presentation, etc., typically the better, as the council has a lot of business to get to as well.
All right, so we need to recap for him then.
Yeah.
All right, so we made it to the weir.
Neil looks at you and goes, "Don't tell me, tell them when we go in."
Oh.
But I'm giving
my
you.
bad.
But they're still adjourned for the next about 5 minutes. So if there's anything you guys want to figure out, the better your presentation, the more you can explain and give them reason to help, the more likely they are to do it. So now's your chance. I'm going to go and speak with a few of my allies on the council and see if I can't drum up some support before we even go in. I'll be back in just a moment. And he steps away.
I believe it would be important to tell them that Koenig the White is actually a beholder and not a dragon.
Yeah. True.
And also that the egg's still out there.
Also true.
Egg?
Yeah, they stole an egg as well as the young dragon queen, and seems we're only able to recover one of the two.
Ah, I see.
Now, if I remember right, Belias, you did a scry.
Yep.
On the ship at least. So.
On the airship?
You scried on. Who was it? No, not so much on the airship, but on Alana.
I hadn't yet, cause
I thought you did.
No, I think we were talking about it because Belias wasn't quite familiar with Alana.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because I was trying to remember. I thought somebody did a scry on something.
Well, no, we were talking about if I would be able to scry on the ship itself, or if I had to scry
and you couldn't do that, but you could try to scry on Alana, or you could try to scry on the Ag, or you could try to scry on. I was trying to think through it.
What about the tree heart?
It's on the ship.
That's where I was gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Good catch.
I mean.
You can't scry directly on the ship, but you could scry on a living thing on the ship.
And the tree heart is a living thing.
Because.
Good call, Ta.
Because of a certain dryad in it, yes.
Wait, what's a tree heart?
It's a thing that occurs when a dryad dies. They leave behind a tree heart.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's actually Milei's mother.
Speaking of which, Milei is with you guys, I believe.
We're not in the chambers yet, right?
No. You guys are just outside the doors. I'm giving you guys the opportunity to kind of get all of yourselves pointed in the same direction if you so desire. Figure out who your spokesman might be. etc. That's all.
Okay.
So we're gonna inform them of what happened at the weir and then ask them for help with getting our airship back. Is that
Excuse me, what?
Oh shit.
Oh.
I kind of stole our airship, and when I say it wasn't me. I'm pretty sure Alana hijacked our ship. It was like several days ago. So we need to fill these assholes in, get our fucking reward money, and get the fastest fucking wyverns they have and start tailing that bitch.
I'm not sure.
Which way did she go?
She went north.
North along
So
the
upstream,
river.
so she'll be slower.
Yeah, do you
Exactly.
guys want the
Well,
world map real quick, just so that you guys have context?
No, I know. One.
All right, I'm gonna do
Uh,
it anyway, because then I have context.
Plus, yeah.
Yeah, so north,
something. Oh,
in this case,
God says yes.
yeah,
2 or 3 days.
2 days.
Two.
So,
Right.
wow, that really needs to. Kyokrates over here. So, like,
Are
what?
we
They're
sure
probably
it
going to be,
was
like,
a
up
lot of
here,
days?
right?
So north could have easily meant that way or that way. You're not entirely sure. Because you didn't really ask exactly which direction you went. It went.
I did.
Yeah, Nick's
I
did.
absolutely did.
Okay. Okay, so it would have. It's most likely up that way, as far as you know. At least that's where the boat set out initially. There is, and I don't have this illustrated here, and I'm gonna just freehand this in. And I fucked up because I didn't add this in, and I will add it in a future map. But there is a line here. It's a canal that goes to Luthadel, turning this into a huge delta, obviously. But the idea being that this is for shipping towards the. It's a man-made canal.
Oh, God.
It is for shipping into over to Praven and Middenheim and that sort of thing from Luthadel. As Luthadel is a bulk producer of magical items and things like that.
Nick's, I'm not sure it was your blue-skinned friend. How would she have beaten us back? She was there in the northern weir.
Magic.
How did we get to the weir before the wyvern riders?
Do you think she had access to a teleport circle?
She's working with the
Who-
dealer.
Exactly.
That's self-explanatory right there. They've proven themselves capable.
So for the purposes of this, if anybody wants to make a check, considering, I mean, some of you know some things about magic. I think
What kind of check?
it would be an Arcana check to see if there's a spell that really allows you to do this
Fuck.
that much. Yeah. All right. So, I would say you would know of sort of 2 spells, right? Teleportation circle makes sense, right? But you need a circle to lock to on the other side.
Most likely a regular teleport.
Or there's teleport, which is the 7th level. You weren't here when you met. Like Lucian wasn't around when you guys met Alana. So you would not, and I don't think anybody here would have had sort of the ability to pick out that, the spells that she was using and how powerful she could amp them up necessarily. But you would know that teleport is an option. But let's see. Considering that you get the idea, who was here in Kyokrasi initially? When they were talking about the teleportation and everything.
Everybody
Nyx.
except for me and Tanaka.
Right. So I think Nyx, Ta, or Zuzia. Any one of you with advantage can roll Arcana to sort of try to line that up with what you know about the city. What is potentially possible. Okay.
Ooh, I'm so glad that was on the bin.
All right. So Nix, you remember being told that teleportation inside the city is not allowed. Obviously, right? But you also know that the Yanti have gotten in somehow, whether that's from a hole that they dug, you're not sure, right? You don't really know, but you get the idea that a regular teleport spell is going to be very difficult unless there's an anchor point somewhere in the city. So,
Okay, I'll relay that.
one of two options, right? Either it was a really strong cast of the spell, right? Of teleport that beat whatever wards are up around the city. Or two, there is another teleport circle somewhere in the city. I'm going to leave it at that's maybe what you could come up with. There may be other ways that one could get in, potentially, say, plane shift, but that, you know, and that's always a possibility. You could potentially plane shift or tree walk. Bramnick, you would probably think of that spell. Teleport via plants or whatever.
Yep. I would know that to be more of a druid-based spell,
Yeah.
though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You would know that to be more of a druid spell, but I mean, when we're talking about options, and the other thing, like looking around, there's maybe like a couple of trees. Like the only place you can really think of is the Temple of Sylvanas, where there
Right.
are some bigger trees, but that's also pretty heavily guarded. So right now, so you know, I'm gonna let you guys sort of figure out what you think may or may not have happened. But that's about what you would have as options that would come to mind, especially with a 22 and a 26 on Arcana. Jesus fuck.
Well, it seems that if there was some teleportation used, that there would have to be a position where they could have to target to get there. And if I was in the Holy City, I would totally want to set up a black market and start shuffling shit wherever I wanted. I mean, this is a main port, right?
Mm-hmm.
There must be another teleportation circle somewhere, and if nobody really knows about it, then it must not be a known thing, which makes me think that it's operated by people of
Less repute.
yes, exactly.
Well, you're pretty good at finding those things.
Birdie
Smugglers.
was better at that. I just steal things.
But you know ways to find people to sell stolen goods to. I mean,
Yeah, I suppose. Well, who wants to go with me?
well, we still gotta talk to Neil.
Sure.
I mean, we could ask him if he knows of if the city's aware of any
Oh, good point.
shady business. You know, even if they don't know an exact location of where things like that happen.
Good call. I agree.
All right. Yeah, you can start to see some of the members filtering back in. Slowly. A couple of dwarf, or it seems like they're coming in twos. So there's, you actually see Tagus is heading in with Neil. There's Gent, who is a dwarf of the Order of Morden.
Is he the
We're
one
gonna
helping
need a
me
bigger
make
boat.
the?
Yes, that is him.
Okay.
Kind of an old, grizzled guy. He's a well, I mean, he's short, like Bramnick. He's shorter than Bramnick, but also a bit stockier, scars, you know, gray hair, a long gray beard that's sort of braided. And you get the idea that like he's probably never cut his beard. So if he were to unbraid it, he would literally trip over it like a freaking wedding veil or some shit.
I'd like to give him just like a small nod as he passes.
This is gonna be funny. Hold on. Okay, his old eyes managed to see you.
Oh, thank God.
He kind of looks at you quizzically for a moment. It kind of shakes his head, and then goes in like he's not entirely sure of what the hell you are or whatever. But yeah, he heads in. There's also obviously you see Daratrine with the elf with another younger elf seeming to act as her aide. You see two different orcs from the Temple of Grimish heading in. Before, if you remember, there was only one orc in there at the time. But now there's two, but the Ty, you would probably I'm just going to say that this is something you would recognize as your catalog, for your catalog of orcish tribes. The previous orcs had Black Talon sigils as their tribe. These ones do not. They both have two different symbols. One being a red background with a fang on it. The other one being a mountain, like sort of like a mountain with like a crack through it on a blue background.
All right.
So yeah, and you would know that with the things that you heard, Black Talon orcs don't seem to be in the city so much anymore. Specifically Black Talon. There are also a couple of others. We've got, let's see here. Sorry, I've got my council thingy here, and I'm trying to remember which notepad document of insanity I put it in. Yeah, there are a few other members. We'll just leave it at that for the moment. We'll get to them as we get to them as I find my notes again. But yeah, so at that point, Neil sort of ushers you in behind them after the rest of the council sort of steps through the doors.
Was there places to sit, or do we have to stand?
So it's kind of an open room, right? It's a circular room. On the far side are the council seats, right? And spaces for their aides to write things down for them and notes and all that stuff. It's sort of like have you ever seen like a Senate board hearing or whatever? It's kind of like that. There are some seats and like benches at the other area, but then there's sort of this large open area in between where people can stand and present whatever it is that they wish to present.
Okay. Well, who's going up there? Somebody's gonna talk to them.
I guess I'll walk up first.
Yeah.
No.
No.
How about somebody? How about somebody talking to people?
Yeah.
Fine. All right. Nix will run up and she'll stand in the center and say, "Oh, esteemed council members, we the nameless have come to."
At that point, exactly,
good.
freaking Tagus and Neil and Daratrine all sort of like raise their hands, sort of like, "Hey, stop!" And Tagus looks down to you and says, "I get that. It seems like we're some sort of high and mighty group. We're not. You can speak normally. It's fine. We'd rather get to the business of working through whatever problems than any formalities."
Well, this will be easy then. All right. Well, here's the deal. we helped you guys. We saved this dragonling and returned her to her rightful place with her mother. And upon doing this favor for you guys, this task, we came back to find that our vessel that was docked here has been stolen, and we require your aid getting it.
At that point, sort of, all of the eyes sort of seem to turn towards Neil, partially for confirmation and seemingly for something else. He sort of stands up, serving as Tagus's aide currently. He stands up and says, "It's true. They, in fact, did rescue one of our queens from, well, I'm not entirely sure exactly how it all went down. I'm sure if you want more information, they could provide it. Regardless, they did do the Wyvern Riders a great service. And in so doing, brought that protection back to the city. Well, it's on its way anyway. And just in time considering what's been going on around us. Regardless, I think that I think the Wyvern Riders will be taking this into serious consideration. What we could really use at the moment, what we need, is in order for us to be able to use our wyverns to help these individuals who helped us, we need people, we need you to raise the defenses of the city in our stead, and to keep the defenses of the city since we have left strong. It may take us some time to figure out what is going on, where this individual and this ship has gone. That is what we need from the rest of you. And that is why I brought them here. If you have any questions pertaining to them, now would likely be the time. I would also like to remind you that they rooted out the Yonti scourge upon this city. We have no reason to believe that there are any more necessarily, although we should be keeping our guard up.
Hey, Nix.
What?
Tell them that there might be another teleportation circle somewhere in the city that...
Shut up.
Just...
Shut up. Shut up. Okay. Also, it appears that the individual responsible for stealing our ship may have been to the area where the Dragonling was taken, and we have reason to believe that this individual had used a teleportation magic as a means of getting here. And we only know of the one teleportation circle that we've used. Do you happen to know of any others? A second one, maybe?
For a moment, there's some murmuring between, people and their aides and stuff, and then Gent sort of looks over to you and says, "There's no teleportation circle anywhere, other than the one for the Wyvern Riders, and that is kept far outside of the city, and is on 24-hour guard. Why? What makes you think that there is another teleportation circle within our city?"
Well, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want this person in your city to begin with, so I would imagine that she would not just walk through the front door, if you catch my drift.
Well, all are welcome here. We don't necessarily check for anything. Well, minus, invading armies and the like. But no, I don't.
What about shady business? Do you have any issues with organizations or groups of people that conduct illegal operations in the city?
Well, there is the case in any city. There are those who live underground, so to speak, and tend to shirk the law, although we have done a fairly effective job in keeping them bottled up in their small areas, as far as we know.
How about the
haven't
people
had
who
any-
helped steal the Wyvern Queen?
We had believed that this was something outside of the city. This was done up north, not here.
That's why we're talking about teleportation circles.
Well, as far as I know, there have been two things of note that have happened in the last 2 weeks, so to speak. One, the Yonti infiltration. Although who knows how long that's actually been going on. Must be at least a month now that we know those attacks were orchestrated by them. And the theft of this queen. Are you indicating that they may somehow be related?
Potentially, I'm not sure about the Yonti. That could be separate, but whoever was up at the Northern Weir probably also stole our boat.
And we know that they were there the same time as we in the Northern Weir, so they'd have to have some sort of extreme magic to get them back here before us, seeing as how we use teleportation circles to travel.
Right. How much sooner did they supposedly get back than you?
2 days.
And when did you have indication of them being in the same place as you?
When I was at the Northern Weir, I scryed on the young Wyvern Queen and the egg, and I can't remember. Did I see them or hear her? I thought I saw her skin a little bit.
Yeah, you saw it through sort of a cloth, or yeah.
So
Basically, actually, that first, so because you scryed on it twice. The first one you actually saw them for the most part, and then you got thrown out. Basically, there's a break in the cloth over the cage, and you saw her and the dealer sort of speaking in what looked like a tunnel. And then the dealer saw you and threw you right the fuck back out.
right. So and then we got to the mountains like what, 3 days after or 2 days?
Yep,
I can't
3
remember.
days is when you got to the cave complex and kind of started going through it. You guys actually made really good time through the ice area, despite it
Fly
taking
is
so many
great.
sessions.
So
Fly is very useful in the right circumstances, yes.
So when we arrived at the Northern Weir, I had Orlin's help in scrying on the young Wyvern Queen. I actually saw the people responsible for the theft. It was then 3 days later that we arrived at the cave where we found the young Wyvern Queen. So sometime within then, they were able to make it back here before us.
And how many days total did it take you from the time that you scryed to get back here?
It took what, like a week total?
Well, you were gone for a total week-ish. So what you get the idea he's aiming for is, all right, what's the actual gap between when you scryed and when you got back, or when this person took your boat?
So it would have been at least 5 days.
Well, not necessarily the gap, because it's 2 days previous to now. Now's the first day that you got back.
Low key, 3
Right.
days.
So 3 days, roughly.
Okay,
So there's a 3-day gap.
Yeah, so 3 days.
Well, Neil, how long does it take your wyverns to fly the route from the Northern Weir to here? And Neil sort of sits there and says, well, at the push they were pushing before, about 3 days. And Gent sort of turns to you again and says, so is it possible that we could not have a teleportation circle inside of our city?
I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but it's also possible that there is. And I guess they could have had a very fast airship of their own or something to get them back, or a wyvern of their own.
Interesting. Well, I'm not entirely sure what to do with this information. If there is a teleportation circle somewhere in the city, that's troubling, but I see no distinct reason that there is, in fact, a teleportation circle here.
Well, I have a question. Does a queen wyvern egg need to be kept very cold or warm while it's still an egg?
Neil stands up and says, typically, they are kept cold as that continues the incubation process. However, they can be warm for periods of time with no ill effects, usually about up to a week before there's any damage to the individual inside.
Well, the person who stole our airship, based on the information that I've received, may have the queen egg in a crate or a frozen beholder head. I'm not sure which. Maybe one of those two.
Well, that changes some things.
Yeah, it turns out that Koenig the White was a beholder. A beholder had killed the dragon and had been posing as the dragon.
Odd.
Hence our urgency for trying to find our ship.
Right. Well, I for one, believe that we should call a vote. This is Neil talking, by the way. And you can kind of see Tagus is basically acquiescing to Neil on this. And I would vote in favor of helping these individuals. They have done us a great service, and if their report is true, we should also take a second look in the underbelly of the city for a potential teleportation circle or inlet point of some kind. It could be a dire problem for the city. Gent sort of shakes his head, kind of almost in disbelief in general. But
Is Gent the dwarf?
Gent is the dwarf, yes.
Okay.
And you can kind of see that that Daratrine calls a vote and says, very well, we'll be voting here in about 5 minutes or so. Get your facts straight, and we'll see how things go. She then sort of moves over to Tagus and Neil and is now talking to them. You can see several individuals are breaking off into factions, with the orcs not moving at all. They're just sort of sitting there. But Gent is speaking with a few of the other temple leaders, and Tagus and Daratrine are speaking together as well.
Is Daratrine the Sylvanas priestess?
Sylvanas, yes.
Okay, I had it written down as Darlene.
Oh, it's Daratrine. My bad.
Daratrine.
Might have been my terrible pronunciation.
It's Gent,
Or
just
my
like
bad listening.
Is Gent Gent or Gint?
Ghent.
Okay.
Well, I'll just turn to the group and be like, well, you know that Daratrine and Tagus are on our side? I would think, anyways, that Daratrine is on our side. We saved her life. And he and I worked together to create the antidote.
Well, think of it this way. We have reason to believe that there's that egg on board our ship. Then our interests are aligned. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the wyverns, and everything wouldn't be too happy about, their friends, the riders and all that. I mean, the people that protect this city did not go after, said egg and stuff. I mean, we have aligned interests here. There's no way that these guys could say no.
That's the hope, anyways.
All right. Any input from anyone else?
Well, I may not be part of this group, but I would like to repay the favor of you folk breaking me out of that hellhole. I would like to assist you in recovering your airship.
Good.
Oh, by the way, yeah. By the way, I asked Neil for the treasurer to come bring our reward money, so it should be here soon.
And you guys know I'm just here for the ride. So we're going somewhere else, see new things. Cool.
Okay. So, at this point, you have. So I'm just gonna put this really quickly, because I think I found my notes. Yay! So there are 6 individuals, or 6 groups, I guess. You've got Neil and Tagus from the Order of Bahamut. Well, Neil being from Torm, but they're basically kind of the same group there. You've got Daratrine and her aide from of Sylvanas. You've got Gent from Morden. He seems to have a younger male aide with him. There is a there are 2 tieflings seeming to bear the mark for a god of magic of some kind. I don't know that any of you would necessarily know it off the top of your head.
I could check.
You could check, sure. I just scrolled past it for the 3rd time. Okay, 23. Not bad. So I believe this would be the Temple of... Actually, it's weirdly a place that you guys kind of went. Or no, this is a different one. My bad. So you guys, so this is a Temple of Magic. So this will be Lyria.
How do you spell that?
Leira. Specific, more goddess of illusion, magic, that sort of thing. There's also 2 gnomes.
Probably
One
gone.
of them. What's that?
Nothing, sorry.
Yeah, there's Gond and Gent. Sorry, Gond is the one that helped you. He is sorry. Gond is the one that helped you. He is with the Temple of Morden, and he was sitting on the council before. This is Gent. He seems to be older. And you get the idea that Gond may have been filling in. My bad. Again, just trying to find all my notes because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notepad documents, and I need to turn them all into 1 notepad document still. And what's up?
May I recommend maybe using Google Sheets?
That's what I'm turning it all into, very slowly, because there's a lot of them. And this last week has been absolutely nuts, so I haven't really had the time. The last one are two gnomes of Milil, Milil, god of poetry, song, that sort of thing. One of them seems to have some instruments on her back, including a sort of like almost like a ukulele and a flute.
None of the creepy masked people that I found in the graveyard.
No, they're not. Tortoise aren't there. Or not that. Yeah, I've got that written down somewhere too. I don't remember where I put it. But there, and then there's obviously the Temple of Grimish. The two orcs who are not speaking to anyone right now. They're just sort of sitting there.
No, yeah, I don't care much for the orcs. It's alright. Thank you.
All right, so that's who you got there. But currently, Gent is speaking to the gnomes and the tieflings. They seem to be speaking about the whole situation.
Look at my wrist, checking the time.
Yep. Another
have a
minute or
rest.
so goes by,
Hey,
and
Too
and
soon.
everyone sort of filters back to their seats. Daratrine says, "Well, I for one believe we should help these individuals, and I will vote as towards helping them, strengthening our defenses so that the Wyvern Riders who have long protected this city can continue to do so and handle what business that they may have in order to make our city stronger." And Tagus raises his hand and in joining that, sorry, my brain is not finding words right now, and it's really, really annoying. Meanwhile, Gent sort of leans over the table and looks at all of you and says, "This city has stood for 800 years. The Wyvern Riders have been a boon, but their business is not necessarily the city's business. Well, I agree. You have helped our city greatly. With the Yonti problem, we would have found it eventually anyway. I do not believe that there's a teleportation circle inside of this city. It would have been noticed somehow. We have diviners everywhere looking for such emplacements. And currently, well, I do believe we can agree the defenses of the city must be bolstered. We cannot spare anyone. Not with..." And you kind of get this sidelong glance at the orcs from him. "The Black Talons attacking Riverguard as we speak. We cannot spare anything for anyone. Not right now." And slowly, you see a tiefling raise their hands. And then, like, the gnome is sitting there, like, caught in between, and slowly raises their hand. The
So-
So is it
the
tied?
orcs just sit there, they abstaining apparently.
Abstaining from voting at all.
Yep. The you can kind of just see Daratrine's face kind of sink a little bit. Vote is 3-2 against. Very well.
Give us our help us get our airship, and we'll help you take care of the orcs and ensure your strength, even through reputation.
You get another look from Gent, who had kind of like turned away, thinking this business was done for the most part. He looks back at you. You think you can defeat the largest and strongest tribe of orcs on this continent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nix just looks behind her and just like grins and just turns back to him, and she just nods. Yep.
I want to walk up to him and just like kind of lean forward, so probably only he can hear me, maybe somebody else that's close, and say, "I live for killing orcs."
So as you walk up, right? There are some guards, but as you get like closer and closer to the bench, essentially, you know, they're sort of semicircular desk or whatever. Two large humans, not as big as you, but still kind of imposing. Both paladins of Bahamut stop you before you can quite reach him. Seems like, you know, if there's somebody irate, that's their job, is to make sure that nobody gets too close to, you know, the people running the frickin' place. But you say that, and he sort of looks at you and says, "Aye, but you very well may die to it too.
Good.
Meh. Say this always a
Perhaps,
bad thing.
perhaps good for you, not good for this city. I believe that you are powerful, yes. More powerful than 100 wyverns? No.
So this is the thanks and the kindness that you show to strangers who help protect your city. We'll do well to remember that.
I believe you were given compensation for your help. I believe that you've been shown a hero's welcome to the city. I believe that what you have done will stand in service to your God, as everything we do to protect this city stands in service to our gods. That is where our reward comes from. We must always think, not necessarily towards the betterment of one individual group, but instead towards the betterment of the city. We stand as the holy place, the place where the keepers touched the earth, the only place where the keepers touched Etos. We must protect it. And what you are requesting is for us to lower our defenses of a city that has stood for over 800 years in service to our gods, in service to the people of this world. Lower our defenses for 6 people. For only 6 people, when we have thousands, hundreds of thousands, and if you count all those that make the pilgrimage here, and will make the pilgrimage here, and have made the pilgrimage here, every individual that lives on this continent, no, nay, on this world, you would potentially sacrifice all of their lives, all of their gods, all of their worship, all of their hard work to build this city and defend it for what? For 6 people and a ship?
And your
That is
queen.
incredibly
And your
selfish.
queen's egg.
And
Is
at
that
this
something
point-
that
It
you're
is not
forgetting?
my queen's egg. It is their queen's egg, and he points to Neil.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with the Wyvern Riders, and I appreciate their help here, and we do owe them a debt. But it is one we pay every year without fail. We all tithe some of our money to upkeep their order. We send individuals to them to become new riders, to carry on their way of life. We support them here, and they defend us in return, and that is our deal. What happens internally for them? That is none of my concern.
May I remind you of a Morodan's dogma. Wisdom is derived from life and tempered with experience, not fear. Advance the dwarven race in all areas of life and innovate with new processes and skills. Found new kingdoms and clan lands, defending the existing ones from all threats. If they
Yes,
get their hands on a
and I
wyvern
stand
queen
here
and present a
defending-
future threat of enemy wyverns, I believe that an unknown enemy is much more dangerous than a known one.
Yes, but what would you say if you had an enemy on your doorstep? The day we cannot make decisions based on unknowns necessarily. We cannot make decisions based on what ifs. We have, when given the choice between the man who stands before you with a sword pointed at your heart, and you know him to be an enemy, and another glint in the clouds somewhere, maybe, that you might see, that you might hear of. Which do you defend yourself against? You defend yourself against the man with a sword in front of you. You can only make decisions against those problems that one can see, and you must be a pragmatist. Yes, I wish we could spare the manpower right now, but with easily 100,000 Black Talon orcs out there in the Thundering Run, beginning their siege on Riverguard Keep, and it will fall. No army can stand against 100,000 orcs like that. It will fall, and we will be the next target. The Black Talon have already left the city. It's only a matter of time, and we must be ready. They are the man standing in front of us with a knife. You propose that there is something else that may happen, that could happen, and that we should deal with that first. No, I disagree.
A man
I
on
mean,
an orc
we're
is
literally
nothing without the
asking
head.
for like 6 wyvern riders, like out of an army of however many you have.
They're all up north.
That's
Alright.
the problem. They haven't flown down yet.
Forget the wyverns, all right? I agree. The wyverns don't have any business with this city. You guys just have a deal. You have a contract. I understand that. But I want you to go think back about this place being a strong fortitude for the gods. If people are attacking you, then they see you as prey. They're not intimidated by anything here, or else they wouldn't attack. So thereby, that makes your reputation, well, not as great, right? Then more people would attack, correct?
Potentially, but when we
Exa-
squash them, it won't be a problem.
That's a what if. That is a what if. You said there isn't a
No.
what ifs.
No, with our... If we focus ourselves towards the problem in front of us, namely the Black Talon orcs, there is no what if. My god sings through me and through my weapons. Though I may be old, I will still fight, and so will everyone in this city. But we need every hand. We always need every hand, and this is a threat that we have not faced in a very long time. And with the wyverns currently, most of the riders up north still heading back down south, should they attack in the next few days, and they could sneak around Riverguard Keep. It has been done. Not on that scale before, but it can be done. Then we must be ready. And until the rest of those wyverns return, we cannot spare a single one.
Okay, one moment, please. And Nyx wants to just like gather everybody up in a little circle, and she's just gonna look around and
Huddle.
be like, "Yeah, all right. What if we use the sending stone and ask Soria to send a few airships down here to help.
That'll take too long.
Forgive me, but is the Draken Ascendancy for this Saria is hosted at quite far away?
I don't think you know who Saria is. I don't know if you would even know
Have you guys
what
said
is
the
Draken
name
Uh,
Saria?
I don't think so.
Even if
Tom
we
might
had, we
have.
wouldn't have been like, oh, she's one of the heads
Yeah,
of the
Tom
Draken
might have said
Ascendancy.
Saria sent a message and here's the message, but you wouldn't have necessarily known who that was.
Okay.
And I would say that considering who
So,
Gad
let
is and
me-
what he's been doing,
let me retcon
he
that.
might have heard of the Draken Ascendancy as a place of, magical innovation, but like you have never been able to get out there.
Let me retcon
like,
that to a different question. How far away would this assistance be?
They're quite a ways out. Aren't they like close to a week's travel? From here?
Well, it took you 5 days travel to get to the Draken Ascendancy from Praven.
Oh, so it's closer to like
It's
9
like
days,
3
10
weeks.
days. Really? 3 weeks?
It took
Mhm.
you 2 weeks to get from Praven to Kiokrati.
Oh shit. My
It's a
sense of
big
time
continent,
is
like-
way off.
Like the way that I would think of it, right, is this continent is huge. Like, and I'm actually like trying to build a world map for you guys so you can see the other continents and all that stuff. But like this continent is huge. It's not like Australia sized. This is like,
Europe and Eurasia.
yeah, this is like Eurasia sized. Like it's huge.
Gotcha.
All right.
Well, what if we don't ask for airships? What if we ask for troops? There's a teleportation circle that we've been using. Perhaps the Dragon Ascendancy also have one.
Doubt the council's gonna allow the Draken Ascendancy to use their teleportation circle to send in troops.
How does that not make sense? These guys are just whining about how they don't have enough defenses to hold back
Oh,
this
send in
force.
troops to help them?
Yeah,
Oh.
Perhaps your friend Neil knows a powerful sorcerer or wizard who can send us near your ship once we find it with perhaps a scrying spell.
I mean,
It might be
I
tricky,
don't
but
know.
potentially. I'm gonna.
I want to turn to Neil real quick and just be like, well, it seems like, the city's problems are yours, but your issues aren't theirs. That's kind of unfortunate.
Tanaka, I sent you a thing because I know we talked about it, and I wanted to just quickly remind you of it because it would have probably brought that up. All right. Well, they're talking about magic people, and that's where you studied.
Oh, yeah, the Blade
Yeah.
Singers.
So, okay, so
Well,
yeah,
seems like they're
Kent
not
sort
gonna
of.
help.
I don't think we should hold up this council any longer. I believe our welcome is currently being overstayed. Can I make an insight check on the orcs and
Sure.
Gent?
Sure.
Ugh.
Okay. So the orcs seem to be just trying to stay out of it. They actually kind of seem kind of lost in what's going on. Seems like this is like maybe, those people at work who's like their first day and they don't know what the fuck is going on. That's sort of the general look you get from them. They're sort of sitting back. Actually, one of them seems rather studious, which is odd for an orc. He seems on the thinner side. And he's writing stuff down. But the other one just sitting there, kind of taking it all in, but not saying anything.
Because if I remember right, it was the Black Talon that were on the council before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these guys just kind of got thrown into it
Hmm.
after they left. Okay.
Well, if you don't want to help us, I guess that's fine. We'll just collect our reward money and we'll be off. Thank you for not helping. Don't care though. So just give us the money. We'll be on our way.
The money should have already been delivered. It's not my problem anymore.
Let me guess, you delivered it to the ship.
No.
No,
No, they didn't
we
do
just
that.
just got back. They couldn't deliver
Yeah,
the
like
ship.
Neil was gonna go and get the money for you.
Oh, he said he was
So
gonna.
there was essentially two rewards, right? There was the one from fishing out the Yonti. I think you guys might have already got that. I don't remember.
We got that and spent it on fixing the ship.
Right. And that was the only thing that the city was gonna necessarily reward you for.
A discount on fucking fixing this shit.
But Neil was gonna reward us.
Neil's got your is working on the reward money from the city guard and all that, right? For getting from the Wyvern Riders rather. He was gonna bring that to you guys after his meeting, considering he had the meeting thing, and then you guys kind of showed up to the meeting. So he may or may not have your money right now. I don't
Oh,
know.
my bad. I misunderstood.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, why don't we reconvene at Neil and Tegas's home and wait for him to show up with our reward, and while we're waiting, I can scry on the ship and we can figure out what we're gonna do.
Okay.
I'm asking the group if they want to do that.
Sure.
Follow your lead.
I have other options as well. So if this doesn't work, we can try plan B, D, C, whatever. Let's go.
Okay. You can see that it seems like there are actually these two factions with the gnomes, the tieflings, and Ghent in one, and then Tagus and Daratrine in another. They seem to be, speaking softly between the two groups as they leave. Let's give the person who's actually going to have a chance at this. Zuzia, give me just sort of perception as you leave. Because I think Bramnick, you're a little irate right now, and Zuzia's been trying to
Pissed.
keep. Oh no!
Oh.
You have advantage on perception.
Yes.
Have advantage on perception.
Cloak of Elvenkind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
One more.
just another normal
just a
one.
regular,
Yeah.
yeah.
I always forget where the things are to click.
Nice.
Yeah, okay, so that's a 27.
That's a natural 18.
So as you guys are leaving, Zuzi, I'll say you're kind of towards the back of the group. As it to me, it sounded like Nix and Bramnick sort of marched straight out, probably following relatively close behind, with you and Gad probably bringing up the rear and Lucian somewhere in the middle. That's just kind of how I picture it kind of happening. But I would say that you sort of look back, over your shoulder, and you see one of the gnomes sort of looking at you, almost sad, not like pitying or anything, but like,
Like they wish they could help, but
yeah,
under the circumstances.
But then and then Gent kind of says something a little bit sharply, and he snaps his focus back towards Gent as you guys exit the chambers and the doors close behind you.
And I'll just say to the rest of the group, well, Ged wouldn't be a dwarf or a cleric of Moradin if his head wasn't as hard as a rock.
It's just a shame that, like I said, that the Wyvern Riders' problems aren't a concern of the city, but when the city needs it, the Wyvern Riders have to be there. You'd think that it was a more symbiotic relationship.
I wonder if we could try to talk to maybe one of them outside of the meeting. Maybe some of them would sympathize with us if they're not surrounded by other people.
Who do you have in mind?
There was one gnome that kind of looked like we may want to speak to him and see what if he has any thoughts.
Oh,
He kind of looked sad for us.
well. I mean, I can head back and scry on my own. I just need a place of quiet to do it. If you guys wanted to head up the search for that gnome to talk to them.
Very well. I will also stay behind here and wait for him to come out. Where should we meet up?
Probably at the at Neil's house, Tagus's home. Estate, I guess.
Yeah, sort of like a mini mansion. And they're pretty well off, to be fair.
That sounds good to me. I can stay here with and point out which one it is.
Does anybody want to come with me to? I can maybe take someone with me in my scrying.
Sure.
I think Nyx would be, well, either of them would be well suited for that.
Yeah,
Nyx,
you're pretty good with
Lucian,
magic.
or-
Nyx, you're pretty good at talking, so maybe you and Susia talking to the gnome would be great. Lucian and I can handle the scrying.
Sure.
Sound like a plan, Lucian?
Yep.
Great.
Sounds good.
Melee, let's go.
Let's blow some shit up.
Okay.
As we're walking back to uh, the estate, I want to ask Melee, do you have anything of your mother's? I mean, I want to try to scry on the tree heart, and although I'm quite familiar with it, something of your mother's might help in that.
She kind of looks at you blankly for a moment, and then takes her thumb and points at herself.
I guess you are your mother's, yes. I don't
Like-
know.
I don't. You get the idea. She's not exactly sure what the hell you mean, but like, because, and you might not know this. Like, Dryads don't really have
Belongings.
they don't really have a sophisticated, sense of ownership or anything like that. Guardianship, perhaps, but not so much ownership. So, I mean, like that's the best answer she could come up with at the moment.
I got you. Okay.
Okay. So, actually, let's put it right before you guys split off. Yeah, Lucian, do you want to do anything with, or do you want to check it, or do you need any info on Blade Singers or anything like that? Just while I'm thinking about it, because we did talk about that before. Also, you might be muted and I can't tell.
Shit, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I think I've written down most of the things that we talked about.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Got it. So give me, if you guys are willing to indulge me here, just give me a couple minutes here. I need to quickly go and get the laundry out of the washer, put it in the dryer so that I have nice, clean clothes. Because moldy, nasty, stanky clothes aren't so great if they let them sit in the washer for too long.
All
So
right.
give me a couple minutes. I'll take a quick 5-minute break and come back at this. So if anybody else has anything else that they want to do that you think of in that time, tell me, and we'll kind of go from right when you guys split off.
I'm gonna get breakfast. Yay!
So, is it just Lucian and I going back to the estate, and then the rest of you are staying behind to talk to the gnome, or who all is doing what?
I think so.
Ay vey.
We're all gonna die. Yeah, kind of wanted to laugh at the guy that we was talking to. Oh, a whole 800 years, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. The Elder Rest has been a protected civilization for millenniums. Like,
Yeah, quite a while.
yeah.
Because if I remember right, it actually started off in the Feywild.
Yeah.
Then a couple hundred years ago, I want to say, maybe, it
Well, I wouldn't know that,
showed up.
but
Yeah.
I know of Elder Rest. I mean, I might know that it came here a couple hundred years ago. I don't know. Depends on what my druid mentor taught me. I'm assuming you're proficient in Arcana.
Yes.
Okay. I think that was one of the stipulations for my thing is you have to be proficient in Arcana to be able to go with me.
Yeah, I've got a +9.
Oh, well, you just have to pass an Arcana check.
Yep.
It doesn't say you have to be proficient. Okay. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult to pass the DC because I'm scrying on basically an object. I mean, it's a living
Oh,
object.
you are very familiar with it.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to save the life of the lady and have been taking
Aww.
care of the tree heart ever since with Mile. I mean, she's mainly been taking care of the tree heart. I haven't really done shit, but
Someone's got a crush.
What?
on a tree. Yeah.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
You're crying. Your face is crying.
You know, I should probably link your stream to a couple of channels that I'm in Discord.
That's all right.
a
I don't
bunch of
really
you
care
in
how many
groups.
viewers I get. I just do it for fun.
Well, I'm in a couple of groups that play D&D and stuff and are interested in playing. So
Oh shit.
we might not be the best group to learn from, but we can be entertaining.
Well, we are the best at, for people to learn what not to do.
Exactly.
I'm definitely the best person to learn how not to metagame from. I really need to work on that shit.
How
Like,
to metagame.
oh man. Here's what you don't do.
Oh no, dude.
Anything
I've
I'm
seen-
doing.
Dude, I've seen far worse metagamers than you.
Who? Orion Akaba?
Ugh. Woo, woo. That is fucking harsh, dude. I thought we were friends, boys.
No, I'm
Wow,
saying
just
he's,
kill me
he's-
while you're
he's
at it.
worse than you. I'm saying he's worse than you. I'm not saying you are like him. I'm just saying he's far worse.
Whew.
I try not to, but I'm sure I do subtly, unintentionally.
No, I
Everybody
do it
does.
all the time, just like unwittingly.
It's just hard to hear something that's meant for someone else to know
And then not-
retain
yeah.
that information. And
I don't have that problem.
Fuck, I wish I still had Carillion. I really wish I still had Carillion. I have to stop. It's so hard to
nobody's
pretend I
fault
don't
but
know
true.
some of these things.
Yeah. Well, that's what threw me off last week too. Like Ta said, he's like, you turned to Ta when we found out that the airship was like, you have no idea how much Ta loved or did not love that airship.
Yep.
But that's a minor thing.
Damn it.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Where the hell was that?
What?
I'm trying to find the thing on Walgreens to refill scripts.
Oh, fun.
I'm down to one. My
Ooh.
Lexapro, and that's not good.
No. All right. So is everybody back?
I am.
Welcome back.
Hey, Susia, do you have boots of Elvenkind and a cloak of Elvenkind?
I think so, yeah.
Alright, well, in game we'll have to talk about that. Because I remember putting up like all my gold to help you get those boots, and you didn't even need them.
I think I got the cloak after, or did I already have the cloak?
Yeah, no, you got the cloak after.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
don't remember how I got the
But-
cloak though.
You got okay.
Oh, maybe it was
No, no,
something
no.
that I. Oh yeah.
The cloak is what you got with the help of Bramnick. The boots, I think, were in the bag that you had.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to remember because like that was a little while ago, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember back, and my brain hurts.
Yeah, I don't.
I need to take notes of every little thing you guys do apparently, and that's really difficult to do.
Come on, Raven, get your shit together. You get this.
Ugh, I try. I don't always succeed.
Ah, the anticipation on waiting for my new PC is killing me.
Oh. Why's
I'm
that?
shivering in anticipation.
What?
It's
Rocky Horror
terrible.
Picture Show.
Don't say.
Yeah, guys, did I show you guys the specs?
No.
Oh,
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and link the screenshot. Boom.
all right. Let's take a look.
Nice. Very nice.
Wow, one. Okay, no, never mind. I was about to say you have one 16 gigabyte stick.
No, it's two 8 gig DDR4,
Yeah.
and it got upgraded to DDR4 3000 instead of the 2400, which isn't gonna make a huge difference in gaming, but it's
Nah. But hey, 16 gigs is
Dude, you went
nice.
through iBuy Power. Aw, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
I got good discounts and stuff from them, so.
Oof. I don't
My
think you.
gaming laptop was an iBuyPower laptop. I had it for a few years, but I just need to get it fixed. I think the power supply just.
Shat itself. Like
Yeah,
in
like the
most
connector
laptops.
bit. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know.
Most laptops, that's what happens. That's the thing that dies.
Yeah.
I remember back in the Navy or whatever, like I wanted to get a gaming laptop, and this was like 6-7 years ago or something.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
And I
roughly
was
when I
like-
bought mine. Maybe even
Yeah.
longer.
And I was overseas, so it's like I could order something, but I was going to be leaving the island relatively soon. But I wanted something that I could actually play games on because my laptop shat itself.
Mhm.
So I actually went out and bought an Alienware because it was the best spec'd thing that
Ooh.
was anywhere around.
Wait,
I
when
then-
was this? When was this?
6-7
Was it
years ago.
So it was
Okay.
before Dell bought them out?
Right?
No, it was right after, but they were
Oh.
still running a lot of the same old models.
Yeah.
So I got one of the kind of older. It would have been kind of an older model. You know, it was closer to the original Alienwares.
The Aurora R8 or some shit.
No, I don't remember
Oh,
what
no,
it was,
you got a
but
laptop,
it
that's
wasn't.
right.
It wasn't that great. To be fair, it wasn't that
Yeah,
great.
I bet.
But I was sitting there going, I just need something to play games on that's actually going to be able to play games.
Mm.
And I wanted something kind of small, to
So
carry
you
around
went
with me.
Alienware?
It was that or like an HP piece of shit.
Yeah,
Because that's all they had in the PX. Right? So like
Uh,
that was my limiting factor. And I couldn't order something because it would have taken 2-3 weeks to get there.
If I remember right, Alienware does a lot of like military discount stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I did get a military discount out of it. So that was sort of the plus side.
Like tax free and all that bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, there were some definite upsides to it, and I was like, you know what? This isn't going to be my PC for, forever, but it's going to do what I need it to do for a while, and that's the important part.
The last two
So,
computers I owned, I bought through Alienware.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. The first one was amazing. I got it before Dell bought them out.
Don't get
and
me
then-
wrong, they used to be great.
Yeah, I got it before Dell bought them out. The second one, I mean, it's still good, but
When was that? Back in like 2006?
yeah,
Something like that, yeah.
I think it was a little later than that.
It was like 08, 09.
Yeah, because I've had
Something
this
like
one
that.
for about.
Hey, listen to us nerds talk.
Right?
Welcome to D&D. We're nerds
I
meet
gotta give a big
nerds.
thanks to Busty
Oh,
for
right.
sitting
Let
with me
me,
for half an hour picking in on my PC parts.
yeah. I know that for me, it was one of those things where, it was more of this is the best option right now. So I'm going to roll with that more than this is the best option, period. Because I was like, well, because I mean, my laptop crapped out and I wanted something that could play games. And this thing could play games, and the specs were something that was likely to be able to play most of the games that I wanted to play for quite some time. At least a few years, and then I could get a new PC, which is exactly what I did. And it worked out. But I still have it. But the power supply on that thing is what burned out. It
Completely
was
bricked.
it was so bad.
I was like playing like GTA or something. It was just like black screen. I was like, no.
Oh God, no!
That's when you put it on top of like a towel with like ice underneath it.
I already had like a fan under it and like pretty much used it as a PC, so I just ended up getting a PC very quickly.
So, wait, Belias, when did you
Like,
buy
yeah.
that? Like, when did you order this whole thing?
was that?
2 days ago.
Oh, fuck. So you're
Oh.
still paying premium for, like, because Bitcoin miners. Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
God,
of
that
the-
sucks.
You
You're
talking
paying like
about
an
the
extra
one-
$400, dude.
No,
Well-
I sourced it out. I was gonna build it piece by piece and just order all the pieces online. I saved like $100 just going through them.
But, like, okay, that's still great. I'm super happy. But just, you could have saved an extra, like, $400 if it wasn't for the GPU shortage from people, like, mining Bitcoins.
Yeah, I mean,
that
because
just
people are
really
driving
sucks.
up graphics card prices to ridiculous levels right now.
Yeah, I'm so
Because
glad
they've
my
actually
laptop
started
died when
to
it
come
did.
down.
Yeah, my card's
Yeah.
like almost $1,700, and I bought it for like a lot less than that.
Yeah, I've got a 1080 regular, not the TI or whatever, and that thing runs. I mean, that's a pretty expensive card, but I managed to get it for like $600 or $500, so I was happy with that.
Yeah.
It's still higher than it used to be because it used to be that the top of the line, but not TI.
Mm-hmm.
Cards would run on an average, going back just a couple years, of like 300 to 400. So I mean, there was a price markup, but I got lucky because I bought that at roughly the right time. It's kind of right before the big GPU hike. There was a small one, but I also got it on a deal, so I got real lucky there. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I was gonna get a 1080, but I decided to save on that and just go with the 1060 and then get the M.2.
Wait, did I say my GPU was like? No, I meant my whole computer. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
my graphics card went
That's
from
what I
like
spent, was
like
$1,600.
$300 to $400 to like $700 or $800, like during the
Yeah.
real big crunch.
Yeah, some of that's
what I
really
spent.
nasty.
Yeah,
But-
I'm looking at it right now. It's still like hopping between $500 and like $700.
Yeah, I need to actually take my PC apart, do a whole bunch of cleaning out,
Yep.
reconnect everything. But I kind of figure since I'm moving in like less than a month, I'll just do it then. I'll do it when I get to the new place. It's
Yeah.
easy to do it there, and I'll have, the space and all that stuff, and I don't have to worry about it. I can just kind of knock it out at that point.
Yeah, it's almost about time for me to do it too. Just you're supposed to do it like
Yeah.
what, every 3 to 4 months, depending on where you live.
I do like a clean out, right? Like compressed air, just get the dust out of the thing every month or two, usually every like 2 months. But like I have a problem where some of my ports, specifically for the audio ports, are kind of screwy, so I have to use certain other ones. So I need to get new connectors
Mm-hmm.
for that stuff. So or just a straight up new port. And you can get a replacement one for the case or whatever. And I may just do that if I have the extra money.
Oh, ew. Tanaka,
gotta-
what is that? Holy shit.
Yeah, I gotta do it at least once a month because I smoke in my room.
That is the current
Ah.
iteration for my next upgrade.
Jesus, where are you gonna get that money?
Going to save.
That's gonna be
Because-
a monster. What the fuck?
Because I am tired of going with, oh, this is what I can afford, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I've got to pinch pennies here. I got to No, fuck it. I'm done with that. My next computer, I'm going balls out. Fuck it.
I will move up that up. I think I'm probably gonna end up moving pretty close to you, Tanaka. So
Jesus.
Cool.
How many SSDs and drives do you need?
the shit
am
that
a
he
SS
does,
hoarder.
I wouldn't be
SS
surprised.
I am a
It's-
hoarder,
solid state drive.
but
Yeah,
not
he's
with
got
like physical stuff.
4
I'm a hoarder of data. I save
Yeah.
everything.
Dude, just build a separate server. Build a
8
separate
terabytes
box.
of internal. Jesus.
To be honest, you could probably save a lot just by buying terabyte externals.
Potentially, yeah. Well, no, that's about the same as the externals.
Yeah,
Yeah, externals aren't very expensive.
Yeah.
No, but I mean those internal, the Seagates there, they're pretty much on par for what the externals are. I just got an external relatively recently, and it's about the same.
Yeah, I've got a 1 terabyte external that's
Yeah, I've got a 2
equivalent to one.
for backup stuff because I'm always afraid that I'm gonna lose the important data that I need.
Mhm.
So I try to back up every week, but I've kind of fallen behind, and I need to get around to doing that again. Anyway, I think everybody's back. So
That made me like realize, I was like, oh yeah, my grandpa worked for one of those companies, and apparently he was the vice president of Materials United States Operations and back in the 90s.
Oh.
oh jeez.
Yeah.
Also, with the 2 terabytes, I'm not gonna have 8 terabytes. I'm gonna use RAID.
Ah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. So, yeah. That's some fucking ridiculous redundancy, though. It's awesome.
Yes.
But then you're an IT guy, so I'm not surprised.
I mean,
at
you're
all.
gonna have to switch out those solid state drives after like 5 years, anyways, because that's what
Yeah.
their shelf life is. Mine started crapping out of me. That's why I built a new computer. I wouldn't even boot the OS.
Oh.
Oof.
Yeah, I
That's
just had
nasty.
to replace one of my hard drives because it started crapping out.
But okay, enough about nerds doing nerd shit. Let's talk about
Yep.
D&D, guys. Yay!
That's not nerd shit, right?
It's so mainstream right now.
Right?
Yeah, it is pretty mainstream.
It is actually.
It's
Actually,
almost getting ridiculous.
one last quick divergence there. I've actually heard of D&D being used in retirement homes for memory therapy,
Oh.
Nice.
which is like, because I've heard a lot of like, younger kids are using it as or there's a lot of like schools and program after school programs that are using it to help kids write and learn new things, because like they'll take a concept that, say, like let's say algebra or whatever, you got to do X, Y, or Z, like the finding out the sort of like what is it, Pythagorean theorem, right? Like when they're learning that, like there's the whole tree, and then you have to measure it by its shadow and all that stuff. Well, they use those sorts of concepts in D&D as puzzles, so that people have to figure them out in a more storyline way, and it actually gives them a use for it, for learning. Well, at the same time, memory therapy, apparently it really helps some, not all, but some patients with mild memory problems. So that's kind of cool. So, I mean, I read something about that. It was really cool. All right. Anyway, so you guys are now just leaving to go your separate ways. So what groups are doing what? Just
Lucian
so I know.
and I scrying
things.
at the estate.
I
Okay.
believe that Anvil, Zuzia, and Nix are staying behind to go grab that gnome.
Okay. Ta? Where you want to be?
What was Nick's gonna go do?
There's
They
a
had
gnome that seemed to have some kind of sympathy towards you guys.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with him.
Okay. So, the meeting itself seems to carry on for a little bit. So you guys are kind of out in the hallway for the moment. About 10 minutes later, 10 minutes after you guys leave, and Lucian and Bramnick head off towards the estate, Neil pops out really quickly and says, I'm sorry for what happened. I'm going to look into ways that we can still help you. Regardless, here is what we could get together for helping us. And he pulls out a somewhat large bag, sort of pouch, hands it over to you, and says, I'll see you after the meeting if you're still here or back at the house. You're always welcome there, but I have obviously business to continue to attend to. Sorry again. And then sort of ducks back into the council chambers.
How much money is in the bag?
1,272 gold.
Hand it to Ta for the bag of.
Yep, got it.
All right. Meanwhile, I'm going to say that you guys are kind of hanging out there while you're waiting for the meeting to finish. Meanwhile, Lucian and Bramnick, you guys head back to the estate. It's like right here, so I'll say it's like maybe like a 15-20 minute walk. It's not bad. You guys get back to the house, no problems. As you sort of walk up to the door, Maldred pops the door open and says, come on in. Lets you in, and then looks at you and says, will you need anything from me?
Just maybe a room where I can get some privacy. I need to do some scrying.
She sort of points down the hallway off to your left. There's a den, sort of like a study room. She says, will that do?
Yeah, that's perfect. Do you mind? Yeah, that's it. I guess. Never mind.
All right, well, if you need anything, I will be enjoying my time off. And then she sort of runs back out into the garden where you can see a book that's sort of been like laid over with, several pages open, and
The wine bottle.
no, there's another wine bottle, and that wine bottle is just laying on the ground. So so you can
Look at
she's
me laying like,
enjoying
"What
her
did
time.
you do?"
Day drinking like a boss.
Sounds like my wife last night.
Whew.
Fair enough. All right, so you guys, we'll stick with you for the moment. So, yeah, there's a study. It's got like a, it's like a desk, has the walls have books on it, that sort of deal. It's not a huge room, but it ain't exactly small. I mean, the place is a big house, so.
I'll pull out the orb and
Okay.
just think back to, you know, the time when I tried to save Mile's mother and actually getting the tree heart and all this. Just try to get everything fresh in my mind, and then ask Lucian if he would like to join me.
Okay, so,
I'll link Scurry for you.
yep, thank you.
I really need that spell one of these days.
It's pretty useful. Getting the crystal
Yeah.
ball is kind of expensive, but
Yeah, kinda. It's expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
All right, so. You have.
and to bring someone with me, you said they need to pass an Arcana check. So
Yeah, I'm
I don't
just
know
trying
what
to
kind
figure
of
out
DC.
what the save is going to be.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's. I think it's going to be kind of a weird circumstance for the save because you
Kind of
haven't
like
done
a
this before.
sentient object almost.
It's a halfway sentient object, and at this, or well, yeah, and at the same time, you haven't done this before,
Yeah.
so I'm just trying to figure out exactly what the save would be. All right, so. Okay, I think I got it. So your spell save DC is 17.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, Tanaka, I'll need a Arcana check from you.
Okay.
That's enough. So so as you and I think I'm gonna go. Where is SIA?
If I remember right, the tree heart was inside the cockpit.
Yes. Yes, it is. Let me.
And I can only see what he sees, right?
Yes.
Yes. So let me do
I
that,
have
and
a high
then
perception.
yeah, unfortunately, it's based off of his, but at the same time, I mean, it's based off of his, so you're really not in a bad spot right now.
What is he? A plus 12?
Plus 12, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a +4.
With a passive 22. So
Jeez.
Yep.
Just
So-
terrifying.
You suck.
by the time we get to like 20th level, if it goes that far, I'll have like a passive 27.
Jesus. Go away.
That was the wrong
Wow.
button.
That's a natural save.
That's a charisma save, not the right kind of save, and I fucked that up. So here,
Oh, thank God.
wisdom.
Well, at
Alright,
least we
and
know
then it
that
would
Bramnick
be minus
ate
5, so
carrots a
fine.
lot with beer.
All right, so sorry, I just wanted to make sure that. Yeah. All right, cool. So here is what happens. Both you, Bramnick, and Lucian sort of get pulled through this small glass orb. You see several, you kind of go up above the city, sort of seeing it from a top-down view. And then you're jutted across towards the northern river, following it for a little while. You see several boats, river barges, that sort of thing, going down the river, and then you jut again. It's disorienting for sure, but you jump out over the top of what looks like your ship, and then you come closer into the cockpit itself, or the bridge. I'll go ahead and move you guys really quick. So you can see.
Is it in the
This
water
part.
or in the air? Sorry.
It is, as far as you could tell, it looked like it was in the water.
Okay.
Um, see. You have. I'm trying to make sure that I have. Sensor. Okay. You can see within the bridge. You can't leave necessarily, but you see that it looks like you guys are like the ship is still in the water, at least for the moment. You don't see anyone in there currently. Looking around, Brannick, make me a perception as you sort of get a chance to look around. Okay, that's enough. You don't see a crate or anything like that. You do, however, looking around, there's not a. I mean, you know the bridge well enough. You do recognize over here on this table there are some new pieces of paper. There's a new map. In fact, it shows, jumping back over to here, it shows a map outline of the crater here. Some of the mountains, etc. You also notice there is a piece of paper that is somewhat covered up. So on here we go. So there's an arrow sort of pointed over here, right? Towards the crater, roughly towards the center, but slightly off. It's not really super accurate, admittedly, right? It sort of looks like it's been drawn on by hand, as opposed to, not necessarily by a cartographer, more somebody saying, this general area.
Right.
And there's a label at the end of it, sort of like how I have Riverguard Keep here, but it's covered up. It's one on top of the other. You see the letters GRIM, and then it's covered, right? The rest is covered by another piece of paper. And then HA underneath it, and then the rest is covered.
And initially you said we were heading.
It looks like you
when we
guys are
first
heading
came,
north.
Cut it out. We were heading this way, or
Yeah, kind of up
okay.
that away.
Okay.
You then, sort of looking over that, you hear the sounds of relatively light footfalls on the stairs heading up towards the bridge. I'm gonna be back. You see Alana. You see a blue-skinned individual walking up the stairs, opening the door. And you can kind of see a somewhat triumphant smile. No, you can't.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's purely visual.
Purely audiovisual, yeah. Lucian, make me a history check.
Come on, smarty pants.
Nice.
So as this individual walks in, Lucian, you have seen this person before. You've seen this person at the Bladesinger Enclave, training, not with you exactly, but with the Bladesingers, as you were with the other group. Always on her own, always very driven, and very strong, but you recognize the blue skin, you recognize sort of the stance. You never really got a good look at her exactly, but you definitely recognize her somehow from your days training at the Bladesinger Enclaves.
Yeah.
You're not really sure anything beyond that, as you never talked with her or anything like that, but you definitely know or have seen her before. You kind of, as she opens the door, closes it behind her, she sort of slaps her hands together. Finally, we can get moving. God damn it, Nix. And then she walks over towards the steering wheel. and the ship itself begins to lift up out of the water.
Fuck.
And you're pulled at that point, your time's up, and you're pulled out and back into your own bodies.
Ah, damn it. Well, Nyx is definitely not going to be happy.
Hmm.
Quick question: when we were heading that direction, did I recognize any landscape? Like, were we close towards like the Peacewood, or because I would recognize that area. Like, I spent a lot of time
Right.
around here, right? So I would know of this.
Yeah, I'll let you we'll use the 15 to sort of build it off. You saw foothills, definitely like not plains. You
Mm,
did not you didn't see forests exactly. But you did see some hills off to your right. But that's as much as you got.
okay.
Lucian, I'm gonna give you an Arcana check. Another Arcana check right before you left. Okay.
Okay.
You recognize that there is the sales were down, and you recognize that there was definitely like wind filling those sails at a consistent and strong rate. Like, it didn't exactly look natural to you. Not necessarily sure what it was that was doing it, but there was definitely a lot of wind in those sails.
Probably an air elemental. Just saying.
Who knows? All right.
Well,
And that's when you guys pop out all of a sudden, and you're back in the study surrounded by books, the musty scent of worn and used leather.
I'm
And
gonna look around
what
for a
else?
map in the study. Can I find a map?
There is an older map sort of up against the wall. It doesn't necessarily have. It seems like it's an older relic sort of map, sort of a almost like a collector's item. It actually doesn't have the city of Luthadel on it
Okay.
or the canal,
But it has.
but it has the rest of it
like, I
pretty
see all
much.
this stuff. Lucian, did you see those papers? Remember the papers on the desk? Grim and the letter or GRIM and then the letters HA. Does that ring any bells to you?
Can I do a check?
You can do a check.
See if I know where that might be from or what it's
Sure.
referencing.
Sure. It'll be another history check, I suppose.
Oh.
Yeah, you're not sure. And to be fair, it's not something that I think you would have run into anyway, but it's definitely not. I mean, it doesn't really ring any bells or anything really.
Nah, I don't recognize it.
When when the airship began to lift, did she like turn at all, or like did she just go straight up? Did it seem like she was changing
She was.
directions?
It seemed like she was going straight up at the time,
Yeah.
but you don't know. Because I
Ah,
mean, as soon as she sort of brought it up, is when you got kicked out.
right.
So if she was going to turn, I mean, you would know from being on the airship long enough. You don't turn right away when you
Yeah.
lift up. You wanna clear the ground
Yeah.
first, and she hadn't even done that yet. So
I think, well, Lucian, I think our only real information is that we know they're north, maybe towards the foothills, towards Peacewood, and that potentially they're heading. Do I know of? Yeah. Do I know of the crater? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's on the map. It's on your guys' map too.
they could potentially be heading there. It seems logical, right? They had a map pointing there. So that's more information than we had. So it's a good start.
And I recognize that individual.
What?
When I was training with the war wizards in Elderwood, or not Elderwood, Elderest. My bad. She was also training with the blade singers there.
Blade singers? I don't know. What are the blade singers?
Warrior wizards, basically. More physical than what I do. Basically, frontline wizards, whereas I tend to be mobile artillery.
I mean, who did she fight? I can't remember. Was it Birdie?
Yeah, she fought Birdie, and then she also attacked Nyx with the
Okay.
same attacks.
But I didn't see her attacking.
You
Nyx,
didn't
so-
know. I think you might have seen the fight with Birdie though.
Yeah, I was in the stands watching.
Okay,
so-
yeah. You would have seen her sort of you wouldn't necessarily have picked up on the fact that it was a spell right away, but she sort of disappeared and then nailed Birdie with a very heavy hit from her longsword.
So what he's saying makes a lot of sense. That she's a front line spellcaster type deal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that makes sense. I guess we just wait for the group now, and we can relay our information. I'm
not sure what else we can do at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with the words or the lettering that we saw. Doesn't make any sense to me, does it?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, I didn't bank on it, but
Meanwhile, the rest of you, at this point, after they've sort of worked through the ritual, had their discussion, sort of trying to figure out what's going on, you guys see as the members of the council begin filtering out of the council chambers, each sort of headed their own way. You see Gent reading through some report. He doesn't even notice you guys as he walks by. Kind of way off to the side. Neil and Tagus also speaking to Daratrine, and they head out to off to your right. The gnome and the tiefling sort of filter out behind them slowly on their own. Or the gnomes and the tieflings, I suppose, and part ways seeming to head off down a set of hallways.
I guess I will call out to the gnome in Dwarvish.
I was gonna see if you wanted to follow him, but
I mean, nobody said anything, so I didn't know if anybody was doing anything.
I mean both works. We can kind of follow and you can call out.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. You kind of
Excuse
call
me.
out as you guys start walking, and he turns around and looks at you quizzically for a moment.
And then I'll just kind of shuffle. I'll try to shuffle Zuzia and Nyx forward.
Which language? I mean, I guess we speak the same language no matter.
Yeah, he sort of looks at you like he doesn't understand, but he recognizes that it was directed at you, or at him, rather. You get the implication from that he does not, in fact, speak Dwarvish. He is a gnome.
That is unfortunate.
That's short people racist.
Nyx touches Zuzia and casts tongues on her so she can understand any spoken language they hear and when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language can hear the target understands what it says.
Okay. He sort of looks over and then speaks in like very slow gnomish. Are you talking to me?
Yeah. I was wondering if we could talk to you in private, maybe, and ask you a few questions. Maybe you can help us.
He kind of quickly looks around and sees that Gen has already essentially exited. The tieflings had headed down their own hall, a different hallway, basically. And he just sort of looks around, figures out what's around him, basically, and says, I suppose. Sure, follow me. And they sort of lead you down towards what seems to be sort of like an office inside of this building that they keep. It's kind of small, and as you guys head down that way, they open up a door, and I mean it's tall for a gnome, but it's really small for like Gad and Ta. Like
We
maybe
won't be able
half
to
your
fit.
height. Yeah, it's not big. Um,
Hey, like, you know how you can get bigger? Can you get smaller, maybe? So you could fit through there?
Not for this. I'll just guard the door.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'll
Sure,
just
I can fit in there.
I'll just take up a position flanking the door from Ta.
okay, so we have two metal-bound behemoths flanking what is essentially a half-size door. You guys head in. It's the office size is kind of what you would expect, but like the desk is a lot smaller, the chairs are a lot shorter. It's like walking into like a kid's playroom and all the chairs are like that sized. And like the gnome walks in, doesn't even seem to like pay attention really, and starts sort of gathering up papers on his desk and moving them around, and then sort of looks up and recognizes that like the chairs may be a little bit small for you guys, and kind of goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Hold on," and then walks over to each of the chairs and sort of like, you know how like when you open a trash bag, you kind of like snap it open, right? He kind of does that with the chairs, and they get like a size bigger, and then he sets them down on the floor for you guys.
I feel like you guys are meeting with Dobby.
Kinda.
Excellent. That's a really cool chair you've got there.
Nyx will use the comprehend language ritual. It's just one action. So she can't speak, but she can understand what's
Okay.
dude's saying.
Okay. So you can. All right. So just for me, you can understand what's being said. You just can't necessarily speak in Gnomish.
Yep.
Zuzia, you can understand and speak.
Correct.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. All right. That works. Sorry, I just needed to make sure I knew what the fuck was going on. All right. So where were we?
Sitting in chairs that just
Okay.
expanded twice their size.
Just about, yeah. I mean, it's still kind of snug, but I mean, it's definitely actually like you can actually sit in them. And then you see him sort of walk behind his desk and go, "All right, so why did you wish to speak to me?"
Well, I just have to say this is nice and cozy here. Cool chairs. But so about our airship, I was wondering if you may have an idea of how we may be able to find that sooner rather than later. Maybe some help that you can assist us with.
Well, well, I mean, well, Gent did say that we needed all the people here, and well, I mean, he's usually in charge and he's usually smart, so you know, um, I'm not entirely. I mean, well, what kind of help?
Type of help, guys, that do we specifically need? Ask like Nyx, because she's hearing, right? So
Yeah, Nyx can hear you. Yes,
Just
and Nyx can hear everything he says.
yeah,
Nyx
they just can't
speak
speak to
gnomish,
each
yeah.
other.
just try to convince him that he has just as much power as Gant does. I mean, they are part of the same group and stuff. So his tell him how you didn't, or you noticed how he didn't talk much and stuff, and that he should be more shit, I don't know. Just try to make him feel good about himself.
That's very southern.
Southern charm
I'm
of
gonna
this
guess we
man.
can't hear any of this through the door.
Yeah.
No, you
No.
can't hear anything through
No,
the
that's fine.
door, unfortunately. Oh, it would be kind
Now
of
with
glorious.
Todd's perception.
Yeah, so only me and Nyx who are able to fit through the door. I didn't think about this before I walked in.
Yeah, only the two of you are really able to fit. I mean, it's almost like a hobbit hole, right? Like it's not that kind of door, but it's kind of that height. So I mean, it's pretty small. But yeah, so okay.
Specifically, do you have any ideas? I feel like you may know something. You seem like a very smart. I want to say gentleman. I guess that would be appropriate to call him.
Yeah, I mean, he is male. I will say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that I made that clear earlier, but yeah, he's definitely male. He's just really soft spoken and also really, really small. Also,
Yeah.
quickly, Nyx and Zuzia, what language are you guys using to communicate between the two of you? Just so I know on my own list. I don't actually remember what languages you guys speak exactly.
Common, Abyssal, and Draconic.
Oh, I can talk Abyssal as well.
Okay, so are you guys speaking Abyssal back and forth, or?
Sure.
That's gonna make him real comfortable.
Kind of a dick.
Butter him up real good.
No, I guess we would probably speak common because I would just be like, "Hey, do you have any input?" And I don't think
Yeah.
that would be bad.
Oh, well,
make fun of
all right. Yeah, if this is in common, she would not have said what she said.
What?
Oh. Okay.
Wait, what did we say?
Well, I mean, if the Duke can speak common, I mean, clearly he can because he was at the whole council and was, listening.
Oh,
so
yeah. Wait, you
assuming-
said, oh, no, we totally spoke Abyssal. Sorry. Yeah, no, we that. Sorry. I had to
Okay.
think about that for a second.
Kind of looked at, and when you guys were speaking Abyssal, he's actually kind of used to it. Tieflings speak Abyssal, so or some do, and some also speak Infernal. So he's used to that. It's not so weird. But he definitely looks at you curiously as you guys are talking back and forth, but then sort of refocuses on you as you sort of turn back to him, we'll say. And then what is it you want to say? So we actually have this all. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we had it all figured out.
Yeah, no, so I say, you seem like a smart gentleman yourself. I'm sure you may have some ideas of ways that we can find this airship. Otherwise, if I could poke my head out or get Ta to poke his head into the door, maybe he has some good ideas.
Okay, Nyx just puts her hand on Zuzia's shoulder and is like, what my friend here is trying to say is during that council meeting, we believe Gan is making the wrong decision here. He's not seeing the larger picture, and I think that you might understand that as well. And you do have just as much power as he does. You are part of the council group. You make decisions together, and you shouldn't be, you shouldn't have your voice unheard during things like that. And I did notice that you didn't talk very much.
He seems to take that in stride. not really giving like you're kind of surprised. This guy's actually got like a ridiculously good poker face until he starts talking. Um, but he then sort of turns back to you, Zuzia, and says, in Gnomish, well, I might have a few ideas, but the reason that the council, well, that Ghent voted and decided the way he did is he's the most experienced and he's lived through, well, the last big attack, and so I deferred to his judgment. I'm sorry for what happened to you, and I believe that if we can help, we should. But, well, before we we have a system, right, in the city, and it's worked for a very, very long time. And part of that system is, well, we know that there's always going to be underground groups, and if we squash one out, another one shows up. Then we squash that one out, another one shows up, and well, it's easier if we just let them do whatever it is that they're going to do, but we keep an eye on them until they get, well, too bad. But if one of these groups created a teleportation circle, now that would be a good reason to go in and squash them. But if we didn't know, if we didn't know for sure, then, well, then stirring up that's a problem. It's going to destabilize a lot of things, and then we have to find the next, underground group and infiltrate it, and well, it takes a lot of time and a lot of resources, and well, that gets tiring, to say the least. And it's a lot of work, and right now we need to be focused on the bad guys, the really bad guys. So, but I'd like to help. Well, do you know where the airship is? If you know where it is, then, well, then you could go get it.
I wish we knew where it was.
It's 2 days at least away, maybe 3.
Okay.
It went north. That's all we know.
Well, if it went north along the river, you could probably go along the river and catch it.
How?
Well, there are several boats in the port. There are, well, spells and horses. I've never ridden one. They're a little too tall for me, but
Oh my god!
I mean,
I'm
you
glad
could
I'm not in
probably.
this room.
I'm so sad I can't be inside.
But I do have a particularly fast donkey, and you
Are
could
you serious?
probably find a.
Vix just closes her eyes and like takes a deep, deep breath for a second.
I could loan you my donkey.
I just can't.
This guy would be paced.
He's so sweet, though. He's so sweet.
Well, that's very kind of you, sir, but I feel like we need something a bit more powerful than a donkey. Maybe some weaponry. I'm not really exactly sure, but I don't think a donkey's quite the route we're looking for.
Let's go back to spells. You just mentioned spells.
Did
What
I?
do you mean?
I might
Yeah.
have
Oh,
mentioned
yes.
spells.
Yes.
Perhaps I mentioned spells. Did I mention spells?
You
I
did.
could've, I suppose. Okay, let's talk about spells.
Okay. Well, do you know of any that could get us to our ship or close to it, perhaps?
Well, if you know where it is and you have a powerful enough magic user, you could, say, teleport. I don't know. Well, you couldn't do it within the city, but you guys know you can walk outside the city and then you can teleport. It's not a
Oh,
problem.
of course. Yes, of course, of course. Do you happen to know where we might find such a talented individual?
Oh, well, there aren't many arcane purveyors inside of the city. Um, Magic being mostly, not necessarily banned, but frowned on in certain respects. But there are some magic temples around. There may be, um, there may be some. Yeah, there should be a magic temple. Have you tried the Sorcerer's Rise? There are many magic users there that go on pilgrimage. At the same time, however, um, I think it's more important to know where your target is. And, well, I can't necessarily help with that. If you can figure that out, I may be able to, well, see, I can't take resources away from the city. That is uh, not what I want to do. However, I may be able to use um, some of my, let's say, personal resources to give you uh, some extra help in the transportation department. However, I would need a favor. And it's not much of a favor, but I do need a favor.
Okay, what kind of favor?
I have a particular package in Luthadel, and I need it here. And, well, with Riverguard Keep, under attack, or soon to be under attack, the the problem here is that shipping is going to get to be problematic. And if you do indeed have an airship, you could potentially go to Luthadel, pick up my package, and bring it back to me very quickly. And the quicker, the better. And for that, for the promise of that, and I will hold you to it, I will grant you some resources of my own.
Well, if the ship was headed north, I mean, that seems like Luthadel might be close to on our way, possibly. Yeah, we can absolutely detour once we secure our passage to the ship.
However, I cannot help in locating the ship. That is up to you. So how about this? If you find your ship somewhere, somehow, if you find it, come to me and we will deal with the rest of it. However, for the moment, I have defense plans to get to because nobody else seems to want to do it. So that is on me. And unfortunately, and he pulls out like this huge stack of papers. It looks like invoices and that sort of thing. Drops it on his desk. I have all of this to get through by tomorrow. So I'm terribly sorry, but if possible, I would like to be left to do that until we have a plan of action.
Alrighty. I guess we'll go talk to everyone else.
Thank you very much for your time. And did he mention his name? Did we ask for his name yet?
No, he didn't.
Okay, yeah, all right then. So to whom have we been speaking? I didn't catch your name.
My name is Widbar Bibrost, and I am a council member here for the Temple of Miliel.
Excellent. Well, hopefully we can return to you soon and continue this transaction here. All right. Well, thank you very much, and we will not bother you any further.
Thank you. Yes, I'm sure you can see yourselves out. Oh, and do put the chairs back to the proper size before you leave.
Oh, certainly. It's such an interesting chair. Just kind of shove it back together.
Yeah, you just kind of have to like squish it a little bit, and it just goes whoop, back into its original gnomish size. They're just kind of sitting there. He sort of like gestures, or actually sort of like touches something on the desk. The door swings open, and you guys exit, and you can just see him furiously going through this paperwork as fast as he can. Mind you, the paperwork is about as tall as him, so about 3 feet high on his desk, and he's just grabbing a page, looking through it, signing it, grabbing a page, and that's all you see as you leave.
Could you spell his name out real quick, please?
Sure. Actually, I'll just copy it into chat.
Thank you.
Also, he might be one of my favorite characters to voice.
Oh, it's so great.
That one doesn't hurt.
Oh yeah, that too. It would have been perfect if you spoke just like Jeff Goldblum. You were kind of getting there. It was almost there, but like
There was like
It's
I wanted
so
a little
good.
bit of influence. He's so weird, but like he's such a weird character. I was like, it can't be quite exactly him. It has to be kind of in a higher register and all that stuff. But I'm kind of happy that one evolved completely naturally over the course of that conversation. I had no idea what he was going to sound like.
that was great, Raven. That was
It
great.
was.
Joker from it every once in a while.
So yeah, I
What's
guess
that?
we'll.
Sorry, I didn't.
Joker from it every once in a while.
Yeah, there was. I did fall into that, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go quite there. I kind of tried to pull myself out, but my voice
I'm just like a dog
kept dropping
chasing
into
cars.
it really quickly.
So you guys come out?
Yeah, Nick's
Yeah,
will
so
come out.
so you see Zuzia and Nyx come out with whatever expression is on their face. I don't know, but of a very small office and a very small door. Now exiting out between the two.
I'll immediately, like
tower.
before they even get past me, just like, what's our transport?
He said that he can work something out for us, but we need a location. So I don't know. We'll have to see what Bramnick was able to find.
Pull up the Rocky Talk and say, Bramnick, do you know where it is?
I have a rough idea. I did see it. I did see where they were heading, and I saw a map of where they might be heading from there.
I was gonna like shout into the half door, hey, Gnome, we know where it is.
Like, okay, so I didn't include this, but like he has a quill pen, right? That is floating in the air, sort of Harry Potter style, right? He's got another one in his hand and a pair of glasses that apparently are letting him speed read all this stuff. And he's sort of like all the movement stops for a second. He sort of looks over to you and then lowers the glasses with one of the quills still in his hand. Oh, really? Okay. Well, so where?
Nix will grab the walkie-talkie and like bring it inside and put it down on the desk and be like, Bramnick, tell this guy where you think the ship is right now.
It's definitely north, near the foothills of near the Peacewood Forest. But the, right before I was pulled out of my scry, I saw that it was lifting off out of the river.
And there was some blue chick.
Yes, Alana was definitely on the ship.
Well, okay, I don't know who this Alana person is, but do you have a method for getting from the ground to the airship?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it reliable?
Yes.
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 Okay, so I will need to call in some favors, and you will pick up my package.
Absolutely. Who do we need to speak to once we get to Luthadel?
I will include instructions just for you. This would be for you need to see Kirkot Smirkak.
Oh, Jesus.
Legitimately a name.
What?
What was the last one? Smirkat? What?
Hold on,
Smirkak?
I'll get it for you.
Smurfcack.
I am putting the name in right now. Weirdest name.
Kirkot Smirkak.
Kirkot
Oh,
Smirkak. Yup.
Fucking gnomes.
I love gnomes so much. You don't even know.
I'll try to bow like down enough to the door and say, "We will get right on that, Mr. What's his name?
My name is Widbar.
Mr.
you very much.
Woodbar."
All right. Well, in that case, go ahead and head to the north gate. I will send one of my aides to you. How many are traveling in your party?
Shit. Braminek, are we bringing Malay to this? Like, are you bringing anybody else?
I look at Melee.
I want her there.
Is she looking like she's like, yeah, I'm going with, or is she?
She seems kind of enthused about going somewhere.
All right, yeah, she's coming.
All right, then that makes 7. Can we see? Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it makes 7.
Okay, and about how big are all of you? I see there are 2 here that are
We're the
average,
biggest.
I suppose. Okay, you are the biggest. And how many are your size?
Just me and him, I believe.
No,
Okay.
he means like the others.
Oh.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
We got those 2 big guys, a dwarf, of course, me and Zuzia, as you see, and
Melee is about the same size as me, just lighter.
Okay, so head to the north gate. I will send you aid with your transportation. It should be there in about, oh, well, it takes some time. Not a huge amount of time. I would suggest provisioning before you go. It will be at least a day or 2's ride tops, but I will have your transport there within 2 hours. Make sure you are there in 2 hours.
What's the transport?
I have quite literally.
Donkeys.
If it's donkeys, I'm gonna fire into that room.
Well, you didn't say anything. Are you saying anything like that out loud?
No, I didn't hear the bit about donkeys, so
No.
that's me saying that.
Okay.
I just asked him what the transport was.
I have the fastest steeds on, well, in the area, I will say. There are faster. I suppose the elves have got me beat slightly, but I'm still the best around.
Do we know about how far it is from here to the foothills?
Yeah, I mean that's this right here.
Like roughly, yeah. Like is the scale
Via-
right from what I'm seeing?
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, it's like 200 miles. Is you might yeah. It took you a few days. Let's see. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think it took you like 3 days by airship, 4 days by airship, something like that. Actually, no, it might have even been
from here to
It'd be
here,
like
yeah.
it would have taken you a good 3-4 days by airship typically.
Okay.
well, I guess we'll see your people at the north gate in 2 hours.
Very well. I look forward to having my package delivered on time, in a timely manner, and with time to spare.
What sort of time frame are you thinking about?
Well, if you get your ship, I expect it to be your priority to get me my package.
Okay, well, that sounds like a fair deal then. We will go get your package from Lucido and bring it to you post haste.
Very well. I am looking forward to it. Now then, I will get back to work, and I will have my aide bring you your transport in 2 hours.
Thank you very much.
And then he goes back to writing and throwing things everywhere.
All right, we need to go to a magic shop before we
Yeah.
leave.
We need potions.
I'm gonna give you guys a second to figure out exactly what you want to do because I can.
Yep.
I'm gonna say you guys are standing out in the hallway figuring out exactly what you're gonna do. I'm gonna go get a drink because that doesn't really hurt my voice, but it's compressing that Adam's apple a little bit or whatever, the larynx, and I need a drink. So I
So
will be
worth
right
it, though.
back. that was a fun voice. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, so healing potions could be for you guys, because they don't work so well on me. I don't need to ingest things.
Okay.
But I will probably look for a blacksmith and look for maybe some scrap iron or whatever.
Better make it quick.
Yep.
Hope you got your own money.
I got about 1 gold. I got 1 gold worth of copper pieces, so I should be okay. I should be able to get a lot of scrap iron if I need it.
Make sure we go to a magic shop, Todd, not just like a alchemist potion shop guy. I have an idea.
Okay.
Oh yeah, whatever happened to that goggles of night?
They're in the bag.
Because hey guys, guess what? I made another character who doesn't have
Vision.
dark vision.
It sucks for you.
It's
Yep.
okay. I have the light cantrip, so
Yeah, see, you don't need it.
Looks like we could sell that for more party funds.
Let's see. I don't. Zuzia, you have dark vision, right? I would assume so.
She grew up underground, I think so.
Yeah, I can see
Okay.
in the pretty darkness.
Oh,
I can't
also,
remember what I'm trying to say.
Just kind of thinking back on the fight with the beholder. I don't believe you have one of these. Todd's gonna pull the belt of returning out of the bag, which apparently Carillion had. It's red. I don't know why.
no, it's something
we
you guys
identified
found
that.
out of the pile of
That's
shit.
right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll pull that out and then I'll hand that to Zuzia.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop the identify spell and pick up bless. Well,
So
actually, no,
basically,
I
if you
can't
throw
do
your
that.
daggers, they'll come
Oh.
back to you.
I had to think about what it was. Do I have one of
Yeah.
those?
Miss, right?
Do
That
your
was the-
do your daggers return to you if you throw them?
No, I guess only the one does. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Now I don't have to go look for them all the time.
They work for literally anything you attach to the belt.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I thought it
Long
was
swords,
only.
rocks, javelins, if you can strap it on there.
Neat.
I thought it
Oh,
was only if you
thanks.
missed though. That they returned.
That's exactly what's written down. So I have no idea.
No, it's like if the arrow breaks or something, it won't return. Like if you put an arrow in there or something, like so if you throw the object and it like is destroyed, it won't return, but otherwise it should return from what I understand.
Yeah, the standard workings of a belt of returning. Let me double check that actually.
Why am I confusing this with something else? Was it in my other campaign?
Belt of
Well,
returning.
That's fine.
there's a different skill or a magic thing I think that just happened in Critical Role where not got something where if it
Oh,
misses,
that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
That's not a belt. That was like a dagger or something. I
Right.
think.
I'm gonna post it in the Discord. In planning, I guess.
So we have 2 hours before we're heading out. Is that what I heard, right?
Yeah.
Because I need to rest and potentially change B shapes.
Short rest or long rest?
Short rest.
Oh yeah, you can do that. That's fine.
Just
'Cause-
so I can get my B shapes back, but I also need time to attune to other thing. I can't short rest while doing that. I don't think.
Yeah,
have the
I would
benefits
have.
of short rest.
I would
while
have
doing
basically just said like into the rock, like meet us at the North Gate in 2 hours, so you can do whatever until then.
it. Okay. Lucian, would you be so kind as to ask Meldris if they have a spare map and we can circle the things or the places on the map?
Because there's that, and then there's the blink back belt, which is specifically for daggers and rogues. Or just
Well, it's for
daggers.
anything really, as long as it'll fit on the belt.
Wait, no, hold on, no. Yeah, the belt of returning and the blink back belt is for rogues. It requires
Yeah.
attunement by a rogue. Dex plus 15 proficiency. with
This one
daggers.
doesn't. This one doesn't. It's not exactly the same. But it is certainly rogue themed, we'll say.
I want, while waiting to head out to the North Gate, I want to. How long does it take me to attune to B shapes or to?
It's a full short rest, so an hour.
And we have to be at the North Gate in 2. How long would it take us to get to the North Gate from where we're at?
Okay, let's go ahead and switch. There we go. So this is sideways, mind you. So you're going to that. It's actually the west gate on this, but it's fine. So that's where you need to go. You guys are up here in the Justice Rise. You're not very far away.
Oh, sweet.
I'd say it's a little bit longer walk, like a solid 20, maybe 25 minutes walk there, considering traffic is a little bit heavier around the gates.
Next question was, I don't get the benefits of a short rest while trying to attune.
No,
Right. So I wouldn't have time to do both
no.
if trying to get there in 2 hours.
You can get a short rest while you're riding, right?
Nope.
No,
Oh,
not
No,
while you're
because you're
riding.
doing stuff. I don't know if you're gonna be able to attune to something while you're riding, though.
Oh, I definitely won't be able to attune to my V shape while riding.
No, not B shape, but
Any items.
Was it gear or a B shape that you're trying to attune to?
To a
It
monstrosity.
requires so if you're
Oh.
attuning to gear, it does require a short rest or a long rest depending on the item, because you need to sit there and focus on it pretty close to exclusively.
All right.
So kind of like a trance, all right.
Yeah, kind of. But you do gain benefits of a short rest while doing it, attuning to items, not necessarily the B shape. As the B shape requires essentially a ritual.
Shoot.
So
All right, I'm gonna take a short rest while we're doing this, then, so I can get my B shapes back. Because
So you're gonna go where to do a short?
I'll just hang out in the study that I'm in right
Okay.
now.
Okay. So you're just sort of sitting there hanging out. All right, cool. Everybody else?
I want to go find a blacksmith and get some like scrap iron or something cheap. Anything. Just I basically want to spend part of the 1 gold worth of 100 copper coins that I have.
Okay. Yeah, you could get probably something. You could get a hunk of scrap, sort of not quite slag, but pretty close, if that's what you were going for.
Yeah, just like not great iron or whatever was left over
Yeah.
that I can extract stuff
Okay.
out of.
Yeah, I'd say you could get almost not quite a cubic foot, but maybe like 8 inches cubed
Okay.
of scrap iron for, let's say, 6 silver, so
I have-
60 copper.
Okay, cool. Can I just ask to get that exchanged into like just give me 4 silver back?
Yeah, I could. I'd say they do that. Change is always nice.
Sweet.
All right.
Thank you. How much is that again? How many pounds? Probably like
For that much, I'd say it's
Like
like a
35?
solid 5. Yeah, probably.
it's at 35, right?
No, 5 pounds of scrap iron.
Cool. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and make my way up to the north gate.
Gate. All right. Everybody else?
Go to a magic shop.
Okay.
Along with Nyx, and I assume everybody else too.
Okay, so you head down to the sorcerer, to just below the Sorcerer's Rise. There's a magic area down there.
All right.
Okay.
The
there
main thing
aren't,
I need is potions, but Nyx wanted to go to
Okay.
a magic shop specifically.
Okay. Yeah, you can find a potion shop and a magic shop. The magic shop's pretty small, admittedly. Not like they sell a lot of stuff here. A lot of it is geared towards the ships and some adventuring stuff. But yeah, so the potion shop, you find a small shop sort of adjacent to the magic shop. What exactly are you looking for?
Healing potions.
Okay. Yeah, you find a few on the shelves. How many do you want?
How many do they have?
So they have 4 regular healing potions and 2 greater currently.
I'll
It
take
looks
'em all.
like there's okay.
Just gonna scoop them into an arm and just put them on the counter.
So that'll be 400 gold.
All right, done.
Okay. That way we're so a 3rd level spell. Let's see. So each scroll. How was I doing this? I don't remember how I was building these things. I think I have notes somewhere. Or decent, okay notes at this. Okay. So a scroll requires 100 gold. No, it's 100 gold per spell level and 8 hours of work. It's actually usually longer. I'm looking at it. 100 gold per spell level, and usually it takes a week of or 5 days of work per spell level. You can up the rate of that with help from someone else. Reduce it down to 3 days worth work per spell level.
And how much would a third level spell scroll cost to buy?
Assuming that they have it, it would depend on the spell.
Fireball.
Spell of Fireball. Third level spell. Typically, that's gonna cost a solid 600 gold, at least.
Some bitch.
What about something like teleport?
Teleport or teleportation circle, because they are two different spells, and
Probably teleport because there's no teleportation circle that we know of. Probably.
that is a 7th level spell. So you are talking in the range of about for that particular spell, we're talking like 5,000 gold.
All right.
It's a very high level spell, and it's very, very time intensive to make. So, yeah.
Okay. Are you done, Ta?
Yeah, I just got the spells or the potions, so it's up to you.
Okay, so all right, Nyx will dig through her stuff and she's gonna throw it all down, Brant. Man, it's gonna be the what is it? The golden ceremonial not golden ceremonial dagger with the weird pommel for 750. All of 3 of the Pardo gems, which are 500 each, and both the platinum trade bars, which are also 500 each.
At a magic shop?
Yep.
Okay.
And also the silver ornate box, about 100. And she'll say, "Would you like to like trade these in? I mean, these are pretty nice items and well kept, very well kept, as you can see."
For what exactly?
Excellent. I hoped you would say that. I would like to get. She like pulls out this parchment and looks through it. And she's like, I would like to get a scimitar of speed, a broom of flying, and a marble elephant.
Aha. He sort of like looks around, and you notice that like there's no weapons in this shop. So he goes, I don't have a scimitar of speed.
Okay, that's fine.
Marble elephant, maybe. What was the other one?
A broom of flying.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have that for sure. I have a broom of sweeping, if that helps.
Not even a little.
Okay. Well,
What about the elephant? You said you might have that.
let me take a look. And he starts digging through some stuff in the back. Hang on here.
While he's digging through the back, I'm gonna pull out the what was it? The feather? Oh god, I lost it. The feather that turns into a and just like show his
Feather
neck and be like, "Is that yeah? What is that? Something like this?"
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
I'll put that back on my belt.
Okay. Yeah. Do. I'm trying to figure out exactly what this store has again.
mean the immovable rod, Tanaka?
You don't have one.
Yeah,
The
we don't.
removable
Same
rob.
difference.
They do
We
have
know-
one in
We
here.
know the guy that does.
There is
Also, endless rope.
there is in fact an immovable rod in this store. Okay. Where the hell did you get the marble elephant from?
I got a list from Elias.
There's a website. It's like Sane's Magic Items or whatever. Basically gives you
Okay,
a
I'm
breakdown
just-
of all the prices of different magical items.
Yeah, except I use different price structure. But I'm just trying to find the marble elephant to see if it. What is it under? It's not in here. That's odd. Let's try.
I think technically it's a summon.
6,000 gold.
Let's try this.
Here, I'll link the thing that I. Oh, I don't have permission and resources. Dope.
Okay. Hold on. Marble elephant. Okay, this is under. Oh, okay, so these are different. All right, got it. Hold on. These are considered. Okay. There is, in fact, a marble elephant.
Excellent.
It is 1,200 gold.
1,200. That's doable. Do you have change?
Well, let's look over what you have.
I can give you these 3 Pardo gems, which are 500 each. Would just need 300 back.
Well, I'll buy them off of you for 400 each and to make a profit, and they'll need some refining. The platinum trade bars are, of course, well, trade bars. I'm willing to take those at face value. And this box, I have no need of it personally. I'm sure someone else will, but I'm not very interested in that. And this dagger, well, we don't deal in weapons here, so reselling it would be nearly impossible. Perhaps
Where might I find a place to sell and or acquire magical weapons?
you won't find one inside of the city.
Okay.
You may want to look. I mean, Luthadel is always a great choice. It's the magic emporium of the world these days, although it's typically strictly controlled. But it is certainly a fair, much better choice than looking for magical implements of any type. I typically work for studying wards and things like that, or enchanting inside of the city. But I have this small collection.
Okay. Well, all right. Then I'll accept the trade for the or the purchase of the Pardo gems at 400, and I'll take the offer for the 2 platinum bars for 1,000.
Well, I mean, the 2 platinum bars are worth 1,000 gold.
Oh,
Like just in and of themselves. It is.
oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It is essentially the equivalent of 100 platinum.
Okay, so yeah, then 2,000, right?
Right.
Okay,
But
sorry. So
the
yeah,
Pardo gems are. He's giving you an offer for 400 each. That's the only thing that's actually like a trade. The other one is already currency.
Okay.
It's the equivalent of having 2 sets of like 50 plat.
What about 450 for the
I need
Pardo
to
gems?
make me a charisma check or persuasion, I suppose, if you want to.
He sort of looks over you and says, "Best I can do is 410."
Fair enough. Okay, 410 it is.
And you want the marble elephant, correct?
Yes, please.
He pulls that out from under the counter and 30 gold and sets it on the counter and says, "Very well. Thank you for your business."
And did you also want to purchase the platinum trade bars?
You don't purchase them. They
Oh,
are
okay.
You
So you
would
money.
trade
literally
them
just
for
use.
gold.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
You could trade them for gold if you wanted to, but like they are also, they are worth what they're worth.
Gotcha. So if I wanted to like break it up, I'd have to go to like a bank.
It would be the same. It's like saying, "Do you want to purchase a $100 bill?"
Gotcha. Okay, never mind.
So, yeah.
All right. So what? 30 gold. Okay.
Yep.
And I guess she'll just put the rest of her shit in her pack.
Okay. So you don't have the Pardo gems, but you do have everything else currently,
Yep.
and you have a marble. All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Anyone else need to do anything else?
Nope.
Okay. So, oh,
I was just gonna say after I didn't know if Lucian did it yet or not. I was just gonna say after the short rest, try to see if Mildred has an extra map so we can take one with us and
That's right.
circle the locations that we
Yeah.
saw in the thing.
she actually, she sort of rummages around the study for a minute, comes back with a more updated, but not like complete map, but you have what you need for the most part. It's not perfect, but it's enough to work off of. And she simply says, "I figured Neil would let you have this, so there you go."
Thank you.
All right. And so you're probably gonna head out to meet them or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. So you guys are all at the northern gate,
Oh,
and
while we're waiting, I wanted to ask Nyx if she could put fly into the iron stone that I've got. I have a feeling we might need this over the course of the next day or two.
If I do that, I'll need to rest.
Short rest or long rest?
Short.
I think we have time.
Yeah, if we have time, then yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, because we had 2 hours, right? So we'd be able to
Mhm.
like, yeah, okay. Just over the course of that is what I meant. Like, I
Yeah,
didn't
sure.
Yeah.
shopping.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, I'll say you guys kind of hang out for a little bit. About an hour later from when you guys got there, I'll say it took you about an hour to do the shopping. It wouldn't have been that long, but you guys see a young human with what look like 8 leads, and there are he's actually riding he's riding one horse. There are 7 other beasts behind him. There are 2 huge war horses, and when I say huge, I mean like, yeah, they make Ta kind of look average sized person. There are let's see, 4 regular, or no, sorry, 3 regular sized horses that look quite strong, almost like racing horses, riding horses, that sort of deal. And there are 2 donkeys.
Are you kidding?
Of course there is.
They
Oh,
look lean and like fast for donkeys, but they're donkeys.
are you ready to race? Track donkeys.
I'm gonna saddle up immediately.
Oh my
Nyx is
god.
grabbing one of the regular fucking horses.
I'm gonna grab
Um,
one of the other largest horses.
Yeah, the young man sort of looks over to you and says,
I assume you are who I am here to see. Said, look for the 2 giant metal men and the
That's us.
fireball. So I have a letter here, which is supposed to be your sort of letter of note when you get to Luthadel. Also, when you are done with the steeds, please. And he hands over. Who's talking to him directly at this point?
I want to
Uh,
point to Nyx.
Yeah, I guess I.
Okay. He hands you Nyx a small sigil in with the symbol of Miliel. He hands that over to you. Says, please, what you'll need to do is essentially crush this as soon as you are done with the steeds, and they will return to where they need to be. In the meantime, you will be accepting responsibility should any of these steeds be injured, etc. That is not part of the deal, and that will be something you would have to make up. That is the only way that we can do this. This is a favor to even get access to these. So, in the meantime, there are on their saddlebags enough feed for 2 days. It should be enough, but make sure that it's enough, please. In the meantime, if there's any questions for us, or for me, rather, feel free to ask, but you should be all set.
That's all we need.
Yep, we're good here. Thank you very much.
Very
And
well.
we will try not to break anything, or else we
Good.
buy it. Understood.
At the same time, I would suggest keep it slow going until you're well outside of the city. We don't want you running over anyone. In the meantime, good luck, I suppose. And if all goes well, I'll see you again. Not, well, that's too bad.
I'm going to turn to Bramnick and say, you said you saw the crater, the crater that's far to the east on the map, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to cut her off. We need to go northeast.
I also saw somewhere on the map, I would have written down the letters that I saw.
GRM, HA?
GRIM and then HA. But I don't know if any of you can make any sense of this, but this was on some documents as well. They were partially covered.
I'll make a history check. Can I make a history check?
You can certainly try.
Nope.
Okay.
God damn it.
Yeah, you've never heard of this. I would say that this is something you guys might want to figure out outside of roles, because it's possible.
Shit.
Nyx? Actually,
Whisper, whisper, whisper.
how about your own history?
I'm gonna sit down and think while I go over my.
Hopefully, we're not just sitting here waiting for you to think of this.
I
I'm-
sent you what your role would have gotten. Just gonna let you run from there.
Okay.
Um,
The only thing I can think of is the GRIM might stand for grimoire.
Maybe think back to some deals that you've made.
Oh
So
fuck. Let's go. Like now.
All right, I'm going to look over the donkeys and say, anybody that falls behind gets left behind this time.
I'm gonna laugh when these donkeys are twice as fast as your horse.
I'm literally going to take off at a full gallop, like fuck going slow.
From the
I am
gate?
yes, I'm tearing off. Like, I'm going to watch out for people, but I'm fucking going. Like, this is the point now where, like, we need to get going because the fucking airship is on the move.
Okay. I want you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Alright.
With
I-
disadvantage because
can I
you are
tail
probably not proficient. Oh, I don't even need it. Fuck it.
Oh wow.
My airship. You can
So
move.
you attempt to control the steed that you're on. Dodging in between things, but mind you, as soon as you set it off on a gallop, right, within about 2 seconds, you're 200 feet ahead. Easily.
Oh shit.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll a few d20s. Let's see.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh fuck. That's 2 natural
Alright.
20s. How many people have you killed?
I don't care.
That's not exactly what happened. Actually, you only managed to break one person's legs as you burst by, as most
Oh,
of them
cool.
managed to dodge out of the way.
Yeah, they should have heard.
Yeah. Hence
Fuck.
why. Also, 2 of the city guard, as you kind of slow down and a bit, I would have to say you would probably want to slow down in surprise, as you are now a solid 200 to 400 feet ahead of the party. As you sort of regain control, considering your dexterity save there. Yeah, 2 of the city guards start running up at you.
On foot?
Yeah, currently.
We're out of the gate, right?
You have just cleared the gate. You guys were kind of behind the gate itself.
I thought we started. I thought we started at the gate and then we're like heading out of town.
No. So you guys were right. So you guys were in this plaza here, and he said take it slow until you clear the gate and get outside of the city a little way.
Oh no! Okay, see, I thought we were like standing in the gate and then just like ran out.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought we were like just like standing right outside the gate too.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Okay, then that was my failure. Yeah, no, you guys are still on the interior. Have to go through the gate yet to get on the outside.
Then in that case, yes, I'll say that when we get to the gate, then I'll take off.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Man, I was
about
about
to-
you don't.
I'll get arrested.
I was about to pop off a cure wounds.
All right. So as you guys clear the gate, that's when you sort of let it off. There are some people in the way.
Yeah, I
You
still
do
wouldn't care.
you do manage to clip somebody. It's not quite as bad as they're a little bit more sparsely. It's a little bit more spread out.
Healing
The
word
rest of you guys?
on the guy that got clipped.
What's that?
I'm gonna cast a healing word on the guy that got clipped.
Unless you are taking off with him, this guy is about 150 feet ahead of you, and I don't think that spell goes that far.
Nope. It goes 60 feet.
Yeah, so you'll have to catch up. But
I was gonna tail tie like how you like ride behind an ambulance that's going really fast, you know?
okay.
Wow.
Crafting.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this: you guys all take off. You find I'll say for the purposes of this, seeing Ta kind of bowl somebody over, you kind of just point your various steeds in a general direction that is mostly free of people. And take off, connecting back up with Taz. He kind of slows down in surprise. Now that you guys have seen what actually happens, you notice that as you take off, all of the steeds' hooves hover about 12 inches off the ground.
Oh shit.
They are moving, and that, mind you, that was at like a canter for them. It wasn't quite a full takeoff, Ta. And as you guys sort of all begin to take off together, you are now moving at about, I don't know, 20 times normal speed. 1,200 feet.
1,200 feet
Um,
in one
just-
round?
That's pretty
Question. Just
Or
one
600 rather. Yeah, but
one question. Are there straps or like safety belts or like anything like that on these guys?
you got a saddle and some stirrups.
Okay, she holds on for dear life. And
Yeah,
flapping in the wind right now.
that acceleration is ridiculous, and you guys are all kind of holding on. I'm gonna say you managed to hold on as you kind of like wrap your arms around the bridles, around the reins to just hold on, and you guys are away, bolting straight northeast from your position.
How's Melee handling that?
Oh, right, hold on. Let me burn that healing word.
Okay, you want to try to do the healing word? I want
Yeah,
dexterity
as we're
check.
passing the dude.
Make me a dexterity check.
Ooh.
Let's see.
Hey.
Okay, it's just enough. You get him on the range, on the outside of the range as you went past him, but you just get the healing word off. And you can see he's slightly, it clipped his shoulder, maybe dislocated it, and it seems to pop back into place. But yeah, you guys are now hauling ass, kind of in that general direction, crossing ridiculous numbers of miles, relatively quickly. Melee, for her part. So who's on what steed, by the way?
Nix took not a donkey.
I'm assuming I got a donkey.
I'll take a donkey.
Okay,
Melee gets a
so
horse.
Melee's on a normal horse?
apparently.
A half elf or an elf on a donkey.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So the donkeys are actually keeping up quite well. They seem to be just as fast. And where the horses, you can start to hear them, snorting a little bit and some exertion, not a huge amount for them. The donkeys don't seem to be doing that at all. They seem perfectly fine with what they're doing. Like, it's not even tiring.
You guys laughed at the idea of a fast donkey.
But you guys, it seems like while the horses might technically be able to go a little bit faster than what they're going right now, the donkey seems to just be hardier and have more endurance. Melee, for her part, you kind of hear like a little bit of not so much like a scream, but like a whoa sort of sound, I guess you could say, high pitched shrill, when you guys take off, and then about a minute or so in, you start to see Druidcraft wings coming off of her back, and she's enjoying it way too freaking much.
She's surfing on the back of a horse. Like...
Not quite, but she's definitely like messing around with like the air currents that are generated. And you guys take off. I'll say for the purposes of this, all of this told, it would have been probably about 4 p.m. And you guys are now taking off into what I would call the late afternoon.
Okay.
So, yeah, you have floating steeds with ridiculous speeds.
Do these steeds come with saddlebags that are filled with some feed?
Yes,
Awesome.
they have 2 days worth of feed on them. And you start to get the idea as say the first like 5 minutes goes by and you guys have crossed like, I don't know, 3 miles. You get the idea like, okay, maybe that's why this is that fast.
These things are faster than our airship.
Yes, they are.
Kidding, these things are faster than a fly spell.
They are significantly faster than a fly spell.
Dope. How about we just confiscate the steeds and forget about the airship?
And make an enemy of one of the highest members of this holy city?
Maybe not a great move.
Well, hi-ho silver away, I guess.
All right. You guys head out into the plains. So who's taking point, I guess?
I'm keeping lead the whole time.
Okay. And then you guys, I just sort of envision it in like a semi-wedge formation, I guess.
I'll be near the front so I can keep an eye on the skies.
Okay. All right. So you guys take off down the plains. The city's starting to fade into the distance pretty quickly. Within about 20 minutes of riding, you can no longer see the wall around the city. You can only see the spires as it's fading behind the horizon. So that will tell you you've gone in 20 minutes. You've easily gone like 20 miles.
Shit.
So, yeah, they're hauling ass.
Yeah, that's very respectable for a horse.
For a horse,
For a donkey, yeah.
but you, who had the letter?
Nix does.
Nix.
Nix. Okay, so Nix, there are two letters here. One of them being sort of with an official seal, and the other seeming to be handwritten instructions.
Okay.
I will say that for the purposes of this, the gentleman who gave you the steeds said, to read that on your way. And it actually kind of, you sort of pop it open if you want to, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
It basically says every 2 hours, the horses need at least 15 minutes to 30 minutes of rest, roughly. But that doing so will allow them to keep up that pace for 10 hours a day.
Shit. So that's like 200 miles? What the fuck? We can get there in a
The,
fucking day!
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Does it
I
say
did
that?
say he could do this in a day, right?
I think
So-
you did, but I was reading something, so yeah, that's my bad.
Does it say that the horse is required to be fed and stuff during that downtime?
It needs to be so. All right, I'll lay this out a little bit better. So they need 15 minutes rest, right? They need to be fed twice a day. Which usually takes them about 30 minutes or so. So 15 minutes rest every 2 hours. A midday break for 30 to 45 minutes where they can digest the food a little bit before they start running like psychos again. And then they need to be fed at the end of the day. So and actually, if any of you sort of like open up the saddlebags, you'll actually notice that there's a divider halfway in the saddlebags. So the food itself, and there's two saddlebags, one on either side. So the food itself is set up in fourths. So for each meal, basically, you feed them one part of the bag.
Okay, I'll relay that to everybody.
All right. So your first 2 hours go by, and you can definitely notice that the horses are not tired necessarily, but like a little winded, could use a break sort of deal. The donkeys seem a little hardier, but even them, they are with this, kind of insane pace, are breathing, a little bit harder. At this point, it's 6 p.m. ish. You guys have made it, if I remember right, do my math, like sort of just, yeah, no, sorry, it's, yeah, you guys have made it about 60 miles.
Shit.
Or, sorry, no, it would have been higher, 90. With that first burst. Because they're well rested and ready to go.
All right,
I'm
as soon
just
as they're
gonna
rested up.
pat my horse, because it's a good horse. And I guess hop on again.
Yeah, as soon as it's rested up, I'm gonna go.
How far up can these horses go? And donkeys?
A foot, 12 inches.
Huh, okay.
It seems that once they and it's interesting, once they slow down, they start dropping down to the actual ground again. But I'll say for the purposes of this, you guys did notice that as they were running, right? You guys ran across, areas that were, say, full of small holes, sand berms, small ridges, trees, etc., that were on the ground. They didn't have any problem with it. Difficult terrain does not seem to affect them at all.
Once it gets night out, can Nix go ahead and be like Rudolph and light up the way?
I mean, I have dark vision, so there's that.
I
I'm
cast
just playing.
light on
Nix's head.
Nix's horse, I guess, or Nix.
I think
What
that's
are
an
you?
object now.
But
No, yeah.
I don't know.
Hold on, let
Her
me
is
let me.
fire.
Oh, it's touch. Okay, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll just touch my like breastplate.
Okay.
So we have a shining beacon of light as we were traveling.
Oh, good. Will be
Dope.
easier to spot from the sky.
Yay!
Yeah.
I could drop it though. Like,
But yeah. So the evening wears on. You take a 15-minute sort of break.
During the
Let
break,
them. Yep.
I want to tell Melee that as soon as I get her on the ship, I want her to meld into it and take control.
Okay.
Like
She
she's
seems to understand.
Walk over to her, say, "Hey, ready to pirate our own airship?" And then like hold up my fist to her.
She kind of looks at you quizzically. I don't think she's seen. No, she probably would have seen
The
Krellian.
sky
And
birds, the
yeah, she kind of like. It takes her a second though, right? She's like, she looks at you, sort of cocks her head to one side, and then kind of like gives like a little impish smile, and then really, really slowly and delicately kind of like tap on your on your fist, and
let's
then
do this. I'll mount up.
Does she understand what pirating means?
Yeah, the guys
don't
on the
know.
Griffins did it. She was on for that.
Yeah, I don't know if she knows exactly what the word pirating means. I don't know that she would have heard that word.
oh
but
god, we never taught her
she kinda
anything.
gets a general idea.
Well, she'll learn after this.
She's
She's
gonna
a
learn.
fast learner.
She's gonna learn today.
Tell you what.
All right.
Todd, do we want her to try to bring the airship to complete halt? Do we want her to try to get close to ground? What do we want her to do once she takes control?
I just want her to prevent any changes to the controls until we get the lady taken care of.
Okay.
Because I don't want her to have the chance to try and put it in the ground if we get near the ground.
Gotcha.
We can always try to settle it like above water, right?
Sure. How much water do you see here, machine? Or whatever you are, magical construct.
There are like small. I will say that there's like small ponds, watering holes, sort of thing, but not
Right.
much.
Ah,
There's no like lake. You'd need the river to do that, but there is that canal.
yeah. I mean, if we're over the canal, then
Also, we need to figure out how we're all going to get to the airship once we see it.
I've got a plan.
Do you want to share it?
It'll take a few trips, but we've got a rock we can use.
I mean, I can.
What's the
shape and
total weight
carry
of you guys?
Well, that's why I said it'll take a few trips.
4,000 pounds. It's something.
The thing lasts for 24 hours.
Right,
so
but
we
like
just go
I'm
back
just
and
saying,
forth.
it can fly with a lot of extra weight.
It can fly up to 1,000 pounds,
Right.
72 miles, or 144 miles with 500 pounds, which is like me and Nick's, basically.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. So your second dash out. What direction do you guys actually want to head? Show me that with a vector thing.
Yeah, I mean, generally northeast. I would assume that I'd kind of, or Todd would kind of be able to do the math of it, of like, how far a
if it was
airship
like
can go
somewhere
at a
over
full
here.
clip. Yeah, if it was about
Yeah.
over there.
Okay. Sure. All right. So you guys are kind of heading. I mean, for the purposes of this, right? There's like that, and then that sort of forms a triangle, and you guys are kind of heading up the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly to this side.
Yeah.
Like
I
that,
thought maybe slightly more.
or
to the
more like
side.
that.
Yes. Right. And she's at full wind, so.
so that's like
So
what?
More
If
west,
she's here.
northwest, or east rather. More east, northeast.
It'd be easier for us to like get somewhere and wait as opposed to get somewhere and miss her.
Okay. So, for the purposes of this, while you guys are mounting up or whatever, I want you guys to pick 2 people, and they give me perception checks. You guys choose.
I think we know.
Not it.
Probably Susia and Bramnick.
Yeah, do it.
Yep.
Don't forget
Perception, did you say?
You have advantage.
Advantage.
Okay. Okay.
Jeez, rolled a 3 and a 2 so far.
You still have over 10.
Oh. Well, while we're starting to ride, like just before I tear off at the front, I'm gonna yell to Zuzia or speak over to Zuzia. Hey, you know how you like seeing the sky?
Yeah.
We need you to keep a real close eye on it
Oh. Any particular reason why?
because there's an airship up there that we need to steal.
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. I thought you were like saying like for like an enemy or something flying by.
Wow.
I mean, technically not
Yeah.
wrong. That would also work.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, something in between
Something
here
I
and
don't
there.
know about. Yeah.
Yeah, because she doesn't know.
There's an army of dragons around.
There's a monstrous
I mean,
super
what
rock
are
that
the
has a 300-foot wingspan.
They're coming back
Oh,
for
God.
revenge on their babies.
Yeah.
Next time on How Not to Play D&D.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you see that glint of silver as all of the these featherless rocks, undead, start flying down at you.
Let's do this.
Fuck. All right. So you are booking it up. So that first, I'll say for the purposes of this, for the first bit until you get to, settled, stopped or whatever. You notice that, you're kind of going off the road now. The road itself kind of follows. There's 2, right? There's one that sort of follows the river, mostly north, and then seems to cross. You'd remember this from the map and all. There's a road that sort of crosses the river up to Thornwall, but it actually does it a lot sooner. So Keocross, it kind of comes up like this, and then it crosses
Oh.
that way. So you guys have you're sort of like running parallel to this road, initially, and then diverging off that way. There's another one that follows this river and goes to Riverguard Keep. You guys are kind of in the middle. Yeah, you don't really need roads. Initially, you were kind of on it in a way, but you notice that traffic has slowed down. You do see on it would be the northern part of the road up, that one that goes to Thornwall. You see a brightly colored tent, almost kind of like a circus tent, really, with some wagons and things like that, just sort of at the edge of your vision as you guys cross out into more of the fields. Sort of the last bit of civilization, I guess you could say, or people as you guys book it out into the field. But beyond that, you don't see much. Yeah, that should do it. So then you guys mount up. It is now 6 p.m. Or no, it's like, I'll say 20 minutes. So like, you guys left at 4. So I'll say let's just call it 6:15, 6:20 as
Wait.
you guys load up again.
We haven't had a long rest since we found out about the ship, right?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So I still have Gentle Repose from casting it on Carillion.
Well, you already cast it on Carillion, though, right?
Yeah, as we're leaving the Weir.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still the same day.
All right.
Yep. It's just the end of that day. It's been a very busy day. But you guys take off for another 2 hours, so give me 2 more perception checks.
Ooh,
Nice.
All
He
right.
sees it 200 miles away.
No, not quite. There's got to be some fucking limit, right? So
She has snake eyes. That's good,
Hey,
right?
she's an extra foot off the ground. That means like an extra 2 miles on the horizon, right? 30-mile horizon view, right? That's how science works.
it's 8 inches per mile, so it's technically an extra 3 miles. But
Oh
yeah.
shit!
Curvature of the Earth
Nice.
is 8 inches per mile.
Flat.
God
Yeah,
damn
we're looking
it.
at the map right now.
Well, hold on.
Fuck you.
It would work better if she was an elf, because elf eyes don't. Wait, no, never mind. That's just Middle Earth. My bad.
That's racist.
Okay, so continuing on, see between Bramnick and Zuzia, you guys see several herds of what look like kind of look very similar to buffalo here in the Midlands. There are so let's see. First bit you got out to here ish. Second bit you guys are going to cross 60. No, this one's actually going to be 45 because I haven't done it a ding. So yeah, you get about 40 miles out. So you're kind of right about there. You guys see several, mostly buffalo sort of creatures. A few herdsmen sort of with what looked like they're doing is penning them up and setting up tents and that sort of thing. But nothing too major as you guys come to a close. It seems like that first burst is a lot, and then sort of their second bit until they get a longer rest is a little bit. They run a bit slower. So you guys have crossed about 130 miles so far in 4 hours. So that's kind of ridiculous. Yep.
How soon before we had to let them take a longer rest?
Well, this is they need to essentially quote unquote eat lunch.
Oh, right now
them.
is when they need to do that.
Yeah, so it's every other they need. They can run up to 10 hours. Typically 8 is better if you're going to be doing it for, a couple days or whatever. They can run up to 10 hours, but it's going to get gradually less and less per run in a way, unless they actually eat. So they need essentially, I'm going to say, they need like a solid 30 to 45 minutes before so that they can eat and then let some of that food digest so they don't like regurgitate it, which if that happens, you guys take off too soon. Well, they're not going to be in the best condition, we'll just say. So
Is that long enough to get a short rest?
I would say you could extend it to an hour and get a short rest and get everything squared. It's not a big deal. For the purposes of this, we'll say you guys stop at about 8:30. Sun is now setting properly. Yeah.
Well,
Because what was your max? I think your maximum speed with a ship was like what, 20? Or no?
I don't actually know.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
I don't
exactly.
remember.
I had it written down. And I think it was actually.
Is it in the airship thing itself? Like character
That's
sheet?
what I thought I put it in, but I don't remember. So hold on,
This is speed of
I can do
40.
math.
oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and nope. Maybe it should be at full hit points now, right?
Yeah.
We were at full when we
No, the
got
airship.
back. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I think it was like. Actually, I think it was like closer to like 10 miles an hour. Without
40
you can
feet
go
of movement.
40 feet is 4.5 miles an hour, but that is under battle sail, right?
Mm.
So
That
it's
is
double
without
that.
your sails up and all. Your sails add most of your speed. So I think because I actually had it initially like 3 miles an hour is what you can do normally. Yep. Okay, here we go. 3 miles an hour is what you can do normally without sails at all. If you are in battle sail, you can do 4.5, which is 40 feet per round. If you are at full sail with full wind, you can do about 10 to 12. somewhere between there, depending on wind conditions exactly.
That's an hour or in a
Miles
day?
an hour, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, fuck. How long have we been traveling? We
You
took
guys have been traveling for
220.
4 hours
Okay.
and have gone 130 miles.
Fuck.
So average of basically a solid 30 miles an hour, I think.
Yeah,
140.
A little bit more.
Like
a little
30,
more than that.
35?
32.
36?
It's like 32.5.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is pretty fucking fast for this place. It's actually, technically, this island's not actually that big, but
It's all that raw horsepower.
yeah.
God damn it. Or in your case, donkey power.
Yup. All right.
Bramnick,
So
did you
what do
happen
you
to
guys want?
see whether or not the person who stole our ship is traveling with any companions?
Nope. All I know is well, I didn't notice the whole full sail winds blowing, right? Just Lucian.
Well, yeah. I mean, the two of you kind of noticed
Okay.
this part.
Yeah.
All I
Because
know
I
is
see
she
what you
was
see.
steering, and she said, "Finally, we get to leave. Damn you, Nix!" And they had a full winds in the sail. So I don't know if there was anybody else. I only saw her. I didn't see any crates.
Okay. All right. 1 second.
I'll be right. You know what? Fuck it. I'll stay.
Raven, I don't remember. Did you say I get to keep my multi-attack and I'm just lowering the damage? Or was
Yes.
it... Okay. I thought I wrote it down, but...
Have you guys fought with this person before?
I have not.
Nope. Seen her fight. Watched her. Well, watched her train.
Nix's fodder.
Yeah, kind of.
I fought with her.
By. Yeah, been attacked by is closer. Okay, so yeah, are you guys taking off again, or do you guys want to rest, or what do you want to do?
Only as long as the horses need.
Yeah, Nix was
Okay.
pretty dead set on getting this bit.
Well, somebody was talking about a short rest potentially.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just take the amount that the horses need.
All right, 45 minutes roughly, and so at 9 you guys head out again. So you guys were sorry, I need to get. You guys were right about there. You guys made another 60 miles in, ish. All right, 55. Go ahead, make me those perception checks. Well,
Wow.
Exactly the same.
Go guys. Go you guys.
We're twins!
Yay.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. You get a good radius here.
I'm guessing Bramnick was the surprise twin. I'm sorry.
That's terrible.
I mean, would it be more surprising to have a partial snake child or a dwarf child?
Depends on which family you're talking about.
Okay. At the moment, looking into the sky, it is beginning to become more overcast. Unfortunately, but you don't necessarily see anything in the sky at this point. Just coming into here, horses need another 15, 20 minutes of rest. It is now 11 o'clock at night, we'll say.
We're gonna need to sleep at some point, guys.
Sure. Once
Yeah,
we get
you
the
guys are. Well, no. Here's the problem, right? Well, actually, no. Go ahead. What was that? Huh?
That's it. I said sure. Once we get the airship.
Okay.
Uh,
If you guys want to continue on, you can.
I mean,
We have to feed
if
them right
the
now, right?
airship's hundreds of
Yeah.
feet in
No,
the air
no,
and
not
it's
feed
pitch
them on this
black
one.
out,
You need to.
I don't know how well we're
Okay.
gonna see it.
Yeah, and if we sleep for 8 hours, she's going to be hundreds of miles away.
Not hundreds.
No.
800 maybe. You can get about 10 miles an hour, 10 to 12 tops with a full set of sails with your ship. So, like, you guys were guessing she was, like, here or something. Like, even if she was going all the way, like, that's a long way. So, like, 100 miles would be, 120 miles would be about there. She's got 20, if that's where you're thinking she is, the most she can get is about here.
And we're like right about here, right?
No, not quite. You're
Like right
about
at the D in Midland.
there. Yeah, you're at the D in Midlands.
And that's like a quarter of a day of travel.
Right.
Or
It's
half a day.
just barely over half a day, yeah.
So if we catch her even just closer to Luthadel anyways, that cuts down on... But again, this is your guys' airship, so...
I don't. As perceptive as Susia and I are, I just think it's gonna be really hard to spot the airship in the middle of a night sky. It's not like it's lit up.
And we don't need to sleep a full 8 hours. I can get by with 6, and I will be able to pick up a spell called Locate Object. It should cover... It covers about 1,000 feet. In any direction of me.
We could keep pushing on if you'd like, Ta. Just putting my concerns out there.
Should be easy to lose either way. What do you think, Nix?
If they need a rest to get more combat ready, then yeah, we'll just have to go with that and try to compensate as far as the direction we need to go.
And Brebnik, you can cast a scry spell if need be in the morning again, right?
Yes, it's more about exhausting ourselves and the horses traveling all night than it is anything being combat ready.
We haven't taken a rest since we got into that wyvern camp, escaping Koenig's lair.
No, you guys did take a
We had a
long rest
there.
then.
Oh, at the
But,
weir.
but you left early in the morning, and you guys have. I mean, it's been a very long day, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
you
left
had
at
to.
dawn. Right?
Yeah, you left at dawn. Actually, even just after sunrise, and a lot of you guys were up before sunrise. And you've had all this stuff, and then taken off here late at night. Well, not late at night, but in the late afternoon or whatever. It's now 11 o'clock. It's up to you guys what you want to do, though.
I say we could push on for a couple more hours. Does it say that the horses need to actually sleep? Nix?
Didn't mention anything about sleep.
Well, it said that they could go for 8 to 10 hours, but then they need to.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't get
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so 8 to 10 hours. So how
Is this
long
the
has
end of
that
the 8
been?
hours?
Yeah.
I think we could travel another.
You guys have gone
2.
6, so
Let's
Yeah.
go 8.
Yeah, I'm okay
Yeah,
with traveling
okay.
another couple hours. I don't think we're gonna be as effective if we travel much longer than that.
Yeah, well, the horses need sleep too, so we can take care of that once we stop to rest.
okay. So all of you mount up and take off, I suppose, after 15, 20 minutes rest and talking and all that good stuff. I need 2 perception checks. However, Bramnik, you are rolling with disadvantage. Evil, you are rolling with regular. You do not currently have advantage anymore, as exhaustion sets in to all of you.
Yep.
Your first point of exhaustion
Wow.
as it passes midnight.
That's what I was afraid of.
That's still really good.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I have a plus 12, but it's gonna
Yeah.
affect all our combat and everything too. So
Well, as long as we get a long
Uh,
rest, that goes away.
Yeah, you lose 1 point of exhaustion per long rest.
Yeah, so we're fine.
you're fine.
Meanwhile, so looking into the clouds, it's obviously a lot of cloud cover. Now that stuff is sort of setting in, you guys make it another about 30 miles. So you guys made it 210. Yeah, so you're off on the D of that. It'll put you kind of right about here, right above the L. Let's actually. You're right there. Oh, that should have worked. It didn't.
I'll be right back.
So you guys are kind of right about there ish. But yeah, the cloud cover makes it really difficult to see anything. You feel like you might see something up in the clouds, but you have no idea. And I mean, you kind of feel like you see a bunch of weird things in the clouds as it's late and birds, birds of prey are sort of, especially owls, are sort of dipping in and out. But you don't see anything that tips you off to airship. Exactly.
All right, off to sleep I go.
No fires.
Okay. How do you guys want to set up?
Nix, do you know if she's like you? Does she need to sleep? I mean, and Ta, you would know how exhausting it would be to pilot an airship.
It doesn't matter if she needs to sleep. If she has a way to keep the controls locked, she can just fly.
Well, just
I have no idea if she's able to sleep or not sleep.
one going to sleep.
Oh wait, hold on.
Everyone's
Some of
sleeping
these
now?
spells don't count towards my spell limit. Shit. Okay.
Well, everyone
yeah.
is under the effects of that. Everything you do, every ability check you make, every attack, whatever, it has disadvantage.
Oh.
So until you sleep, that doesn't go away. So I mean, you could stay up if you guys want to do that. You can.
I thought disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws happened with later levels of exhaustion.
Might be, but I know all ability checks have
Yeah,
disadvantage.
Do I have to sleep?
You have to rest
Okay.
at a minimum. Like resting and sleeping are not necessarily the same things, right? You still have to do your rest, but you can do it while staying awake. You could, for instance, you could do the entire watch for everybody
Gotcha.
with that, but because you don't have to sleep, but you do have to, spend time not doing a whole bunch of stuff, basically.
Oh. Okay. Rabbi, I have a quick question for you. I'll send it to you in a message.
Okay. I'm actually looking. I might have to wrap it up here. I apparently have to call my mom. Apparently my grandmother had a stroke, so I
Shit.
might need to call her, find out what's going on, and find out if I need to go somewhere. But I just got that news about. Well, I'm sure you guys could probably tell when I got that news. It's about the time that I got really quiet about 10 minutes ago. So, yeah, I might want to call it here, but I'll say you guys get in a long rest, and I'll.
And catch up next week.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think that's the best bet right now. Sorry, yeah, this is
No worries.
Oh yeah.
not exactly sure what to do right now. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, take care of, real life first. We can just stop
What you
here.
need to do, man.
We're in a good place for it anyways, I think.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. So yeah, you guys are out here. Up next session. Let's see here. No, I don't think it does. Okay.
Thank you.
I will reread the spell or whatever, but I don't think it does. Or is that an ability or is it a spell?
That is a spell.
It usually says if it does or not, but
Well, I hope everything's okay, Raven. Thanks for the session.
Yeah.
yeah, no problem. Sorry, I just not really.
Alright.
No, that's important, dude.
Don't apologize. Yeah. Take care of what
No
you need
worries
to.
at all.
Alright, on that semi-bummer, hopefully
Yeah,
everything's
I
okay, but
kinda came
we will
out of
see
nowhere.
you guys next week. So catch us next time on How Not to Play D&D.